Oh, I definitely want to bring you to my spot.
What about horses on the back?
Space. I have space for you. Yeah, man.
Aw, you're so sweet.
Yeah, come check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Welcome to episode 79 of CONSERVATISH. We have Skinny Hendrixx and Denero. Thank you very much for enjoying my lovely snacks and coming on the show, gentlemen. We had a great time over at, what show was that? What's Happening Now, or What's Really Happening? Over at FCC Free Radio the other day. And because we were so entertaining as fuck, I decided, I think all three of us kind of decided we should enjoy some lovely conversation.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed your energy, man. It was.
I'm a fucking treat to be around, really.
Yeah. I've kind of noticed that, So if ladies out there, if you're looking for a good,
that's
snack,
what I'm saying, though.
If you're looking for a good snack,
saying, you motherfuckers.
And
you can send your titty pictures to conservatishpodcast@gmail.com. I take all comers. And you can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. You can. Am I recording? Yes. You can look for a new episode every Monday and Thursday. Check out the other episodes. Subscribe, like the video, and share it with your less offendable friends. I think I explained kind of the situation the other day about like what the podcast is about, right. And you've listened to a couple of episodes.
Yes.
I've had a couple rappers on. Y'all know Unlearn. I had him on the show once.
Oh, nice.
He's great. He's coming on again in a few weeks. But I think I just like to talk bullshit, and I like to have a place to eat pizza and talk with people and get paid for it. So that's what I'm doing.
What was that? Patreon, huh?
Patreon.com/conservatish.
/ what?
Conservatish.
Oh, okay.
This motherfucker.
You might have
is.
to talk to
sure
the.
Gotta
get that pizza company down, to sponsor you.
That's what I'm saying, dude. These motherfuckers, these ungrateful. I actually did reach out to a couple of possible sponsors, but the people who look out. The people who would sponsor my foul show is kind of far and few between. Like I reached out to a porn website. I think 2 porn websites. That would be perfect because porn is like the last bastion of like offensive, politically incorrect humor that you can get away with. There's always like Black Cocks 5, you know what I mean? Or like, oh my God, a Negro is fucking my daughter 7. You know what I mean? Like you can still kind of get away with that type of shit.
Right. Right.
But unfortunately, oh my God, a Negro is fucking my daughter 7 did not get back to me. No, I'm just kidding. But we're hustling as the hip hoppers say. I'm kind of in the hip hop community, but I'm kind of not because I've got my fingers in a bunch of different, even this dumb podcast that I do. But you guys are actually in the hip hop community.
Well, funny is I kind of feel like you in the same sense too. It's like I'm in the hip hop community, but I don't want to be just in that realm. It's kind of like titles. You go up to anyone and you really tell people that you do music, and outside of people that do music, or especially that rap.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And plus I do a lot of other stuff besides it. So it's just like, that's like when I even meet people, I don't even really like, go off that as my like title. Like,
right. You don't tell them necessarily.
Yeah, people that know me as Denero and stuff, appreciated. But, I try not to live with the hip hop or quote unquote entitlement that goes down with the ego expectations and blah, blah, blah with being,
Well, there's high expectations, but there's also low expectations.
Exactly.
There's so many rappers these
when there's
days,
only a 1% of them that are successful, to the successful interpretation of what success is,
right?
As well,
And even among those, sometimes there's a lack of respect for it too.
Yeah, there's a negative connotation that comes along with the term rapper, basically.
Right, and especially like the struggle. Like I can tell you. So I write and sing hip hop hooks for some rappers over the years, and
yeah, great work, by the way.
Thank you very much. And often it is about often the topic of the song is like the struggle or the hustle or the, you know what I mean? And it's just like at a certain point, it's just, fuck, man.
Rapping,
there are a lot of
about
people
rapping.
Rapping about. That's
one of those
exactly.
things.
That's
very-
exactly rapping about rapping.
It's a very big part of the underground kind of community is like songs about being underground. You know?
Right.
Like,
Yo,
dude, come
right.
on, man. Nobody wants to hear it. You know?
Right.
Like, that's the reason that you're going to stay underground is if that's the real content. You know what I'm saying? Don't
Or-
act like you're here on purpose.
You know what
Don't
I
act
have a
like you're
problem
here on
with too?
purpose.
You know what I have a problem with too as a judgmental cunt that I am? I have a problem with overly spiritual rap or like fake spiritual rap, like about like
Exactly.
all about like getting your chakras aligned or your energy. Like one
Where are
song.
you getting your rap from?
Totally.
Fucking Berkeley? What's
I
going on here?
Kind of. There's a where you know what I mean. Like I listen to Busta Rhymes. I listen to MF Doom. I listen
Right.
even, and I've talked about this. And this may be a controversial opinion. We might as well start off the gate.
So with you.
I would rather listen. I would rather listen. I understand A Tribe Called Quest is important in the realm. I would rather listen to Mobb Deep. I would rather listen to the same lyrics kind of over and over about I'm going to shoot somebody, I'm going to fuck somebody, I'm going to shoot somebody, I'm going to steal something, I'm going to sell drugs, I'm going to shoot somebody, and I'm going to fuck somebody. I would rather listen to that just because it just feels more fun. It's just more fun to listen to than like here's this thing about the scene or about here's this thing about the you know political movement or things like that. I would rather,
and
you know what I
that's-
mean?
The
And this
social
is- and what
climate
gets
at the
me-
time in
Yeah.
Brooklyn in the 90s
And
versus like
and what gets me on that is that's how they judge lyricism is by okay if you rap the more like let's say like your top 5 rappers, you know, most people would say are like Pac, Nas, blah, you know, Biggie, blah blah blah, right? That are like the let's say okay everyone has a top 5. Let's go on a percentage of how many people would say that's their top 5, and I guarantee you there's a high percentage of people that would say that at least those 3 are in their top 5.
Right.
probably 20 rappers
And-
that are in everybody's top 5.
And the thing about Pac is like at least he rapped about you know the intellectual stuff and then went to the ignorant stuff, then back to the intellectual stuff.
Right.
And he kind of saw it in his life, you know, in certain senses. So but dropped so much so fast and died and then
That's
was
the crazy thing
and
about that
died.
dude's
You know,
career.
now the thing's like 25. You're like, dude, man,
I think his
a lot
career
of
was-
people don't even have anything going
When
on
he-
at 25 years
Right
old.
when
these
he
days.
hit
You
before
know?
it was like 4 years or something.
Yeah,
like
it's like
when-
17 years old. He was in movies.
Yeah,
and-
when did that Digital Underground joint come out? That was his debut, right? It's
maybe
all around the
19,
world or something
like
like that.
19 or
Yeah, he
something.
probably had a 6-year fucking.
that was a
career.
fun
He's in
song,
movies
man.
and-
That's a
Yeah,
fun.
so
But then
fast.
I was listening to I just happened to be scrolling through something. I think it was on UGHH or Ambrosia or something like that, where they had like that Biggie radio. They call it a freestyle, like the New York freestyle. And I was like, damn, he's really talking about like slapping a bitch, potentially raping her, taking her Gucci bag and her jacket from her. Like,
Yeah.
how is it that this is like America's like hero? It's like this dude that's really
Right.
talking about some very, very vulgar shit. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like
Right.
you said, it's a fun thing to listen to. But you
Right.
now they play it at like. You know, you go out with all like a group of techies at their company party, and
Right.
everybody's like grooving
Yeah.
to this
Right.
like
Right.
Biggie talking about the most
Right.
vulgar shit. It's like, holy fuck, how did this transition? Because at the time, it was
Right.
like your parents wouldn't let you listen to some Biggie Smalls. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was young, it was like that was super super taboo, and now
Right.
it's just like they play it at the middle school dance and shit.
Well, maybe part of the draw for us these days, or like in our 30s or 20s or whatever, is like that it was taboo, and so it's almost like a stretching of a muscle of like I'm an adult. You know what I mean? I get to listen to what I want. You know,
Yeah.
and also it's the stretching of the muscle of a bunch of middle-aged, you know, mostly white people or Asian people or whatever, getting to like feel like a thug for a minute,
and
Right.
and then also I think. Oh yeah, no, couldn't be. Actually, I was done with that topic.
I was just gonna say.
I was
Well,
done
I
with that
think
idea.
too is when we're young, we looked at these like you know rappers and stuff as like superheroes. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
now everyone's doing it, so it's like everyone can do the job now. So I think that's another reason too why it's not valued as much too. Is it's like you know it's not as rare.
And
Yeah.
obviously
Just like
the-
anything, you know.
Touche.
Yeah.
Obviously,
know.
the internet had a huge influence in that, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about even in the last 50 years of music, before you actually had to be good to get recorded.
God
you know what I'm
forbid.
saying? Like you actually had to, somebody had to believe that you were, you know, bona fide talented to be able to, because they had to basically bankroll your project, and you had to go and pay engineers and get into a real studio, and they actually had to pay for the wax, you know, and it was like a real process to be able to get your music. Even one song recorded was like a big deal. Like even if it didn't go anywhere, the fact that you were on a record was like huge. That meant you were somebody. And now it's like any guy with a, what's this thing called, a Zoom over here
makes
can
sense, right.
have a podcast and say whatever the hell they want.
Now, and there's benefits to obviously this and the freedom But there's also, and we talk about this a lot I have a lot of musicians on the show from time to time. Instead of it being like a small nozzle that a large amount of artists need to fit through, and there's a specific way to get there. You need to get an A&R guy out to your show, or hear a demo tape from the 80s or whatever. Now there's that nozzle is so wide, but there's less movement. Like once you get even you get known. Like even motherfuckers who are getting thousands of streams, they're not getting money. You know what I mean? They're not out there. That it's less fast movement. You still kind of need a company to get behind you and do the advertising. You still need a company to do that. But now the whole game is shifted.
Well, I think they say what is it? Is it 1,500 streams or is it 15,000 streams? Is one album, something like that? They said,
really?
Or with some weird. And that's another thing that's funny. You went to that rabbit hole a little because I just saw something about who created that. Who created your streams and your revenue? Like that just came out of thin air, and like it seems like this like corporate monsters, whoever just created this weird platform. You know what I'm saying? Like. Well, the other how is that? Though, it's crazy. I wish I understood it more.
Right. I was watching, listening to, who's really good about this is Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins. He had a podcast episode with Joe Rogan. Great episode. I've listened to it like twice, 2 or 3 times. And he talks about the game shifting and how when Napster first started, and now all of our money is now gone. You know what I mean? It's actually, in a way, it was good. It may be perverted now and bloated with executives and all that bullshit, but it started off as, okay, good. Now we can at least... Now, instead of people needing, a phone that has 480, gigabytes of memory, which obviously, now you can probably do that fine. But like, back then, 10, 15 years ago, instead of that needing that capability for your library, now you can just stream it. So at least it's something. But the problem is that those record companies got in on those platforms.
Right.
They actually have... Instead of it being a completely separate thing, now they're in bed together, so it doesn't really fucking matter. The artist is the one who's getting shit on. Now, the artist has always been the one who's shit on, but at least you could sit across the table from a record executive or an A&R guy or whatever, and if you were getting fucked, at least it's on paper that you're getting fucked, that you screwed up in the exchange, in the negotiations. Yeah. Now, the entire system is broken.
Even Spotify as well? I thought they were like kind of off trying to rebel against that.
No, I think Spotify is probably one of the worst ones.
Damn,
people who are getting millions,
or maybe SoundCloud. I thought maybe I'm
getting a check for like 2 cents and shit, like
damn.
You know what I mean? Like
wow.
Some weird shit.
Well, I don't know if we discussed this on the other podcast, but I guess it doesn't matter because it's different audiences, so we can kind of cross some of the conversations. Right. But yeah, I read somewhere that it was like in order to make the average minimum wage in America. By just streams, you have to get something like 8.9 million streams per year.
Whoa, wow.
That's just to get a minimum wage, average minimum in America. So good luck in San Francisco. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the average minimum wage in America right now? $7?
$7 or $8.
You know what I'm saying? To make a
8.9 mil. So that means, damn, no one that we know.
Yeah, nobody we know. Yeah, for sure.
Views.
Now, what happens though is that there are different revenue streams. So once you hit a million, there are companies looking for you, and then you can use that 1 million streams or whatever to promote shows, which will get you money, to promote shoes, which will get you money, to be sponsored by Avion Water for your tour.
By numbers that we've been so hypnotized by numbers that we literally, because people buy streams. This is like, let's not fuck around and act like they don't. So that's crazy that to think that that people are more concerned with not with the content, just the number of views that's.
Have you heard of people, like, do you know, you don't need to necessarily say their name, but do you know people specifically who have bought streams?
No, but I know it exists. I mean, I know because you can for algorithms, you can definitely buy algorithms like for Instagram and for if you can buy stuff for Facebook, why would they not make that?
Of course.
For everything else. I mean, I use SoundCloud Pro, but I'm not buying views or anything. That's just to get more, to have an unlimited
amount of
storage. Of storage, exactly. And that's
like $16 fucking dollars a month,
dude. And I was just about to say that, and they're having to drop their price. I've noticed from the original 20 that it was last year or whatever, because of these streaming services that are starting to be like cheaper. So they're trying to be in the middle.
Right.
And SoundCloud is kind of a popular platform, but you know,
My buddies in Europe said that they spent like a really remedial amount, like €10 or something like that,
to buy streams.
Just to like as YouTube marketing or whatever. You can pay into that, and I don't know. They just got like a tiny package. It was like $10 or something like that, and they said that it got them a few hundred streams. Right. So it wasn't crazy, but it was definitely directly related to that investment.
Do you mean buying streams? Because what I mean is buying streams like you have a company, in a warehouse in India where guys are at guys are at a computer clicking play. No, promoting is a whole nother thing. Promoting you have to do. Unfortunately, with my podcast, I can't really promote a lot of stuff because I cuss a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I even had to have. Even if I don't cuss, because the name of the show is Conservatish, I had to prove to Facebook / Instagram
that wasn't hate speech.
That it wasn't. I had to prove that I wasn't a Russian bot, and the way they do that is I had to confirm my address. Takes a few weeks. They send me something in the mail to confirm that I am a real person and an address, and I sent that back. And even then, they still didn't initially allow me to promote videos. Meaning, I just take my money and promote it to other people who like certain things. And it's a fucking pain in the ass, which is why I started the Patreon, not because I'm a selfish cunt, although I am, but because I need the it's a mother. How do I get? You know what I mean? Like, this is the game that we're playing now.
Right. I think what they're trying to do,
you need money to make money.
Is they're trying to, it's kind of. I had a weird conversation with a friend, and I feel like this is kind of scaling it.
Right.
Is they don't want. I feel like they don't want too many people that have certain kind of minds or whatever to be able to reach a certain kind of age bracket. Serious, real talk. Think about if you think about it, like. Because,
message.
You got like, it's crazy. Social engineering is such a trip, man, and you don't really see it till you've kind of lived over 20 years, and when you get close to 40, you start to see these patterns. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you go to school, there's so much social engineering in elementary school, blah blah blah. But when you get to high school, that 4 years is such a strength. They got the military coming in there trying to recruit whoever they can get in there. But at the same time, kids are only limited to whatever that they're learning from school to home and home to school. Other than that, or what they got from their friends. And if they got an older brother, if a friend's got an older brother, everyone looks up to the older brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all kicking it. And I know when I was growing up, if I had an older brother or if another sibling, we were like, oh, what's your older brother into? Oh, he's, he might be smoking weed. He might be, he's just a little older than us. And then, but all that stuff was kind of suppressed from us,
Right.
And then I feel like the same thing now is if there's so many outlets, because kids can get on YouTube faster. They can get on, if they're able to learn things faster now and stuff. They want it to be regulated. So they
that
don't
makes
want,
sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
there's also though, that's what I love about humanity. Like fucking stupid Jeff Goldblum. Chaos finds a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
right?
what kids have started to do, which is they always do, which is do the stuff that adults don't understand. You know what I mean? That even companies is working as hard as they can. They'll get somebody who's 25 so that they can understand the youth. You know what I mean? And and youth just chaos finds a way. And the way that kids have been starting to subvert the to do the taboo, to do the thing they're not supposed to do, is to create memes. The memes have really fucking set fire to a lot of shit. Similar to Vines in a lot of ways, but memes are, and that's another thing too. Like, a lot of these people on the left are like, memes are there's a lot of alt-right people. Like, no, it's just they want to say bad words, and they know that fuck is no longer a bad word, and so they want to create something that pisses you off. They want to use a fucking Pepe meme or a frog meme because they know it makes you angry. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's chaos finding a way. It's
and then with
youth
the gifts,
going, fuck
with the
you.
gifts, with the gifts too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the gifts.
And so
kids with their gifts and their memes.
Yeah, dude. But a lot of motherfuckers, a lot of kids. I had a Eli. Go listen to that episode, guys, if you haven't listened to it. He's a conservative high schooler, in San Jose who, you know, gets told to, like, you know, he's not allowed to talk in class. He gets kind of shit on by other kids in the school, and like told he's a racist. He's a Mexican, but he's a racist, you know, and that he shouldn't be allowed to, like, believe these certain things. What's nice about this kid, number one, is he's a fan of the podcast, so shout out Eli. So obviously he's a good person, but also what's nice about this kid is that he's also, like, kind of like you know, no homo, but he's a good looking kid, you know what I mean? Like, he's a popular kid. And so he grew up in the popular kind of class.
Infamous. He's like the
he's like infamous.
Eli.
So it just rolls off the motherfucker's back. You know what I mean? Like, it's so great to, like, oh no, I'm still, you know, I'm still flirting with girls and stuff. Like, it's you know, rather than, like, if I was becoming right wing, you know, in my high school days, I would have been even more alone than I already was. You know, I'm similar to Alec Baldwin and Jerry Seinfeld on one of their episodes of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. How they were like, you know, these kids in high school, they're all at a party playing Naked Twister, and I'm with a dumb friend going, you think barbecue Cheetos or regular Cheetos? You know what I mean? Like, that's how my high school days were. Well, that and a lot of drugs and alcohol, but.
Pornography, slow
loading pornography. You kids don't fucking understand.
Spoiled kids.
The fucking
Trying to find the tapes.
hardships.
Looking
How
for
was it?
tapes.
Because you're a little older than the both of us. How was it when it was? I'm sure it was even
Put
fucking
it this
harder
way,
for you.
I'm real on my shit, dog. I had a fucking shoebox.
Yeah.
Shoebox
Magazines.
full of magazines and fucking naked fucking pictures and clippings out of fucking shit that from fucking, you know, straight up.
Chaos finds a way.
That's real, dude.
And VHS
Yeah, dude.
fucking
VHS was
tapes.
real.
VHS tapes, you know.
Absolutely.
It was a trip, like, you know, and even like the early DVD era was just still, you know what I'm saying, like with porn. Was just like, wow, you know. Like,
Do you remember? I only had one.
Cause I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off when I saw a fucking 40-year-old virgin.
Right.
The motherfucker starts checking off in a fucking porno that I used to watch popped up. Spaceballs or whatever it was.
What was it? What?
The one with the one that came on was the one I've seen several. My boy used to pick that one up under his dad's fucking bed.
Yeah, dude. Those classic '90s, '90s, early 2000s porn
And that was
where
another
like
thing
spoof-
too, like
porn?
all tits.
Like,
you know what I mean?
This
Like
is
all
crazy,
tits.
bro. Like the other thing too about that is people were less discreet about it back in the day.
Really?
Like for real. Like I don't want to.
I would figure there would
I
be
don't wanna,
more
like,
shame and stuff. No.
No, man. People were like it, man. I know. Like it was. People were less discreet about it. Like teenagers, people talked about it. Like for me, I know my friends talked about like whatever. Like, you know, until we got to the age where we were fucking girls. But
Right.
like I remember, like certain friends that I have now that are still friends of that time frame. Like we got so many chicks together and did stuff. But you know, like I probably didn't lose virginity till I was like 18.
Right.
You know, but
It was
like,
17 for me.
Some guys were younger, some guys were older. You
This
know what I mean?
good-looking piece of
And
shit. It was like fucking 11 or some shit.
It was just a
Cocksucker.
trip because you know we all were just like, you know, hovering around these ideas. There was no social media, didn't have cell phones, had
Right.
pagers. Cell phones for us didn't really become a thing till like 2002.
Right.
I was meeting girls off the party line.
What was the
In the
party
90s.
line?
Oh, the chat
In the
rooms or the
90s.
party
Are
line.
Are you
bro.
fucking those
Oh,
900 numbers?
The you know,
Oh
like
no, that was like
It
paid
was just
for.
It was just
Like-
an 800 number that you call and everybody else calls, and so
Just one
and it's like
local number.
it's like a chat room, but you're able to be like, hey, what's up, ladies?
Oh my god, I didn't know that. And you would actually fuck girls from this?
I would meet, dude.
Holy
this is before,
shit.
This is before you could
It's
even
like chat rooms, bro.
This is before,
How could you tell if the girl was fat?
there was times you, dude, I got catfish before.
You got cat.
But me and my boy.
He was the original catfisherman
Like,
before catfishing was
one time I
thing.
got catfish, I'll never forget it. I took the bus from fucking San Mateo to.
You did it
Daly
anyway,
City.
dude. You don't lie.
I didn't know. No, I didn't.
I love
didn't
that
smash.
kids
I was
do-
young. I
you
was
go
young.
in
This
far
was like-
distances
this
for
was the
pussy.
times when
Oh,
motherfuckers
man.
used to kick at the mall.
Right.
No shame. We're going to the mall.
Oh hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're just going to the mall.
That's where it's all
Go to
at.
the van
Yeah,
store, talk to a skater,
exactly.
skater
like,
broad.
And it's crazy, like, you know, met the chick at the mall, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I was going to the mall anyway. So
Right.
I was like, you know, either way, so I'm just going.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on the way to my mission.
Yeah, it's like when you invite him. Nowadays, you invite him to the bar, and if it's not the one you want, you just walk right past her and order yourself a drink.
So I'm, you know, I met her, whatever. I wasn't rude. I met her with a few friends, and she had friends with her. This is like, we people used to go out like 3, 4, 5 deep.
Talk about she looked like Janet Jackson.
Before Craigslist, right? Yeah, this is before Craigslist. Yeah, this is before the internet, dude.
Okay.
And like we, because they had to think, like, even though the internet was like a privilege, even if you had a phone, you still had. There was times like we had to connect out the phone and into the Ethernet.
Wow.
Like that was like those times. And so, like, me, I met a few girls. Some were pretty, though. Like, honestly, fucking for real. Like, some of the girls I met were fucking exactly what they said they were, blah, blah, blah.
God bless you.
Got catfish, like, once. Got flaked on once.
Of course.
Got fucking... Oh, that was the worst, man. I remember I went and drove to meet a girl, at the old Lions in Daly City.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, it's old. You remember Lions?
No, so I grew up in Long Island and then moved out here when I was 9. But I lived in the Cupertino, Saratoga area.
Like Denny's.
Lions, L-Y. Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like the old school fucking cafe. Lions.
Right. Caro's
met the girl at Lions, and then actually, one of the girls I did meet, was my girlfriend for a while.
Oh, nice.
So like this is before MySpace, and even
early
MySpace was like I was in my 21, 22 when MySpace started. So I was like, that was like a whole different other world.
Yeah, it just
like,
opened up. Yeah,
shit was just so different. But and so it's just like that whole party line thing and being in it. Like you said, chat rooms. I used to battle fools in the chat rooms, rap battles.
Really?
Yeah, fools used to play the fucking shit over the phone, and we be battling on the line, like going back and forth, battling fools, blah blah blah. Like, and it's funny because like, let's say the chat line had different options. Let's say you press 1 if you want to go to the one-on-one where it's like you and just a girl talking. You press 2 if you want to go into like a group. Like it's like a group.
Was it like chat roulette where you would get a guy or like you would get a rant or always girls?
Oh my God! You'd be one-on-one. You'd be having a fucking bunch of weird acting like girls. Hella shit, bro. You'd have girls just moaning.
Dude, interesting.
Fucking just the most random shit.
Right. Dude, chaos finds a way. There's a theme to this fucking show. I like it.
That's crazy. Yeah, dude. Chaos.
I remember being real young and I learned that if you just dialed the 1-800 whatever went wild or something like that, you could just basically do any combination of dirty words that was 7 letters.
Right.
And I never put money into the thing because we were kids, but just having the chick be like
the sexy voice,
sexy voice.
Welcome to Wet and Wild. I'm trying to squeeze one out real quick, dude. Just real quick. The squiggly lines. Fuck that.
Yeah,
the squiggly lines saved my
life.
life.
Why you see a nipple?
Saved my life. I definitely saw a nipple.
Bro,
son of a
bitch.
Spice Channel and shit.
My boy ran up his fucking mom's fucking bill for fucking phone sex. Operate. Oh my God, dude. He like $500.
These kids are spoiled.
Oh my God,
these kids are fucking spoiled.
I actually, thank you for the reminder.
Like
There's a friend of mine.
Landline.
There's a friend of mine who I used to work with at Dick's who worked as one of those, as a sex line. God, I have to have her on the fucking show. God damn it.
Patreon. I think you gotta, you could potentially have a career.
I will phone fuck you over the phone if you pay. What do you think? Like $10 a minute? $20, $9?
Super accessible nowadays. I think you got to drop the rates.
I'm very valuable. God damn it, my fucking voice is very sexy. I've had a lot of women tell me, and men. So yeah, I remember those fucking squiggly line days, dude. That was a hard life. But we didn't know no better. You know what I mean? I remember having to do. I don't know if this is your experience too. It didn't happen often, but like because you're with friends and it's your friend's VHS that he stole from his dad or something. Oh, yeah. We pop it in or DVD, on a computer. Those giant Mac computers that are blue and the Zoolander computer.
Yeah, it's inside the computer.
Right, and you put it in there, and so you can't be by yourself. So you're just kind of in a group, awkwardly near each other, and then you just. The fucking chaos finds a way where you don't look at your friend and just pinch it real quick and then just run into the bathroom.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying that, but not saying that.
Yeah, no, I think that's.
I was saying people weren't ashamed.
That's an unspoken kind of thing with
true.
With the crew.
Said, in a sense.
Interesting.
I don't think there's team. I don't think there's like groups of friends get together and like.
No one's jerking off around each other now.
There's no reason to.
And you see, that's why we got it now. Now that we hit that little, like basically.
Oh, pull the mic a little closer.
We shot that elephant.
Now that I said that, and then you kind of just basically said what I said and described
This
it.
is the
I knew where he
podcast
was
for
going
truth,
with this.
goddammit. This is conservatish, where everything gets fucking. It's free speech, son.
What I was gonna say is so when we get older, you know what I'm saying, like as men or whatever, why are we so scared to share our fucking experiences? With sex, most motherfuckers don't.
Oh, it's the worst.
There's a few guys out there that I do know that are like, yeah, I just fuck my bitch in the ass, but very fucking rare are guys like, or why are we so fucking held back in society? Like there was the other day-
I never come too quick. Nope, I don't know what that experience is like. I always stay hard,
like-
100% all of the fucking time. Blah blah blah.
I'll give a
Or
shit. I'll
just
tell the
talking
truth.
about sex, you don't hear it as much. People are like, oh, you know, if you talk about, it's weird. Like it's funny when you're younger. You're like,
That's what
so
this
much
podcast is about, you
more-
cocksuckers. Pay me fucking money. Patreon.com/conservatish. You want more of this shit? Give me fucking money.
I wish there was
Anyway,
like a hotline people could call in and voice their themselves being offended and shit, and we can shut them the fuck up.
I've had too many
People
too
cry.
many people. I was scrolling through my Instagram yesterday. Just my old
Well,
stuff.
I've wanted to yell at you multiple times while listening to your show.
Yay!
I wanted to call.
All right,
we'll
get to that in a second. But I remember people like on my podcast or on my Instagram, like, really, you really said that? I'm like, well, yeah, I did. Like, but you know me as a person. Shouldn't that count for something? Like, we've broken bread together, motherfucker. We've done tracks together, and you're just completely writing me off because not just the name of the show. I've had some people write me off of that. I've had people write me off for like a joke I made or a race joke or whatever. Like, don't you like people that I've been around,
That's scary.
people that I've lived with.
Yeah, it's not some stranger that's like, I can't support this. It's like
Right,
literally somebody that's
it's some
from the town. and
some
shit, yeah.
creepy shit, man. Anyway, sorry, but what have you been mad about me that you've heard on the podcast? Let's do it.
Are you baiting me? Are you baiting me?
No, I'm not baiting you. I'm asking you. I'm genuinely interested.
I
don't want to fight or anything.
I
but
honestly
it's
think
interesting.
I'm sorry for the homie who was our chosen defender of the East Bay, but I really don't think he made very poignant points.
I've had
I was
people tell me that
pissed.
I won. I've had people tell me that AG won. Alex, you need to come back on the show. We need to fight. This
Don't
again.
worry, dog. I got you. Just make sure I'll be your cheerleader, dude. I'll help you. We'll brainstorm some good points and we'll kill his ass.
I don't need a cheerleader. That was literally funny for like 5 people who know each other. Anyway, continue.
Oh no, I just want. I was just getting at the fact that I wanted to call in.
The East Bay show.
And
That's
you
what
know
you were
what's
mad
even
about.
scarier to me though, guys, is that people are still getting catfished.
You know what? You're right. Let's be real.
Swear to God.
We need to start a campaign.
Is
If I
that
get a certain amount of
happening?
Patreon followers, I will create a campaign. I will run for governor. You know what I mean? And we will blot out catfishing in California.
That's amazing.
But think about
Anti-catfishing
it. With all the technology,
platform.
How could it happen? How could you be? Oh my God.
Of course it can happen because I can look up pictures of myself from Facebook. They even remind you, remember this? How you looked, how good
just
you
met a
looked
girl.
2
She's
years
from
ago?
Africa.
Yes, I
She
do.
needs money right now.
Oh no, not that shit. That prince. Oh my God! Remember when we used to get emails about the fucking Nigerian princes who need us to send them money? That was the. I'm telling you, I talk about the wild, wild west days of Craigslist. That was the real shit. I went to a couple hookers. It was you know, as long as you pay 120 roses for a half hour, for an hour, or whatever it was. Roses. And those were the days. Like, and I think I got catfished once. But most of the time, it was pretty legit females. Like it was. But then again, yeah, I'm a dirtbag. You already know as a podcast listener. But like those were the days where like you would send out an email because someone on Craigslist is you're desperate for a place to live. And you want to find a place to live. Please, someone, give me a job. You send out an email. Oh, you need to sign up for this. Or a prince needs your money. Once they have your fucking email, it's done for you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to block this person or spam. I don't even remember. But there were so many times where you had to filter through, okay, that was a fake post, fake post, fake post, fake post. You know, it was hard life.
Yeah, man, it's crazy that like I mean, it's still now every like all this.
I get what you're saying though, because like okay. How about we just FaceTime one time before I go and drive out and meet you? Let's just do a little quick FaceTime. Don't hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's so many filters and shit. I've always just like I never filtered anything on any of my pictures. But then a while back I was going through doing my little Tinder thing, and so I wanted to I want to level the playing field.
Yeah.
So, you know, I go,
Well,
maybe I
okay,
can-
let's be fair. Even though I don't like being fair to women, just kidding, girls, I love you. But let's be fair. They probably want to level the playing field too. You know, they're probably thinking, okay, there's a big difference for catfishing like 10 pounds, 15 pounds, and a whole nother motherfucking beast.
I think that affecting the weight is fucked up. Making your booty bigger, making your titties bigger, making your lips look all extra plump, that's fucked up. A little airbrushing, you know what I'm saying? Get some of these crow's nests. Maybe it was early that day. You'd stayed up late the night before.
Right.
Cool, fine. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? A little red eye reduction, cool.
Right.
But like, come on, don't make it look like you got all kinds of ass and shit like that, dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not fair.
Right.
That's cheating.
Is
And then
that
I had a
filter
buddy.
you can actually
Oh,
make
you
more
could-
ass.
You could definitely accentuate some shit and push
Because
it
that's
out.
like in my head, that's like Photoshop. Like you can't just like filter, put a Snapchat.
Oh, yeah,
filter.
you
You
can-
have to
you
put
can
it on
put
a
the-
computer and like.
No, you just like push the lines out like you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can round that shit
Why
out.
haven't I
They
been
can
doing
make
that to
they
my
can make their
pictures
lips
more?
plumper and shit. Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Yeah, they
True.
can make their face look more slender and everything like
Okay.
that.
All
Yeah,
right.
man. Anytime you see those little glowing eyes, you know they're like
Right.
You know it's bad, dude. If the main picture is that, it's an automatic swipe.
Remember
left,
a few
dude.
years ago on Tinder where like every girl's profile picture, I don't know how it was. I haven't
there's
had
only
it.
just
had,
one
a dog
picture?
had a dog tongue.
The fucking dog tongue with the ears. Bitch, I actually need to see you. How about this for Tinder etiquette? Don't put your main picture as you and another bitch.
Or
I
a
don't want to
duckfish.
know. I don't want to know what your friend is. I want to know. Wait, which one? You know, are they the fat
and
one
then
or are they
all
the
of
cute
them are
one? I don't
friends,
know.
and then you have to decipher. Okay, well, this one's been in 2 out of the 3,
then you only got
this
one
one's only in
picture,
1 of them,
and then there's
and
only-
this one's, and then you gotta like.
And then there's
you
only
can do it.
one picture, and you're like trying to press to get to the next one.
You're like, is it the hot one? Is
it's
it the
only
hot one?
It's
No, it's the hurt one every time.
and you're
Every
like,
time.
and you swipe right because you think you might
So is
meet
this-
the prettier one.
Is this some etiquette?
Yeah, dude.
Is this some etiquette?
Yeah.
Hey, is this some etiquette? Yo, all your pictures have you and your friend. I'm not really interested in you, but your friend is kind of fine. Can you let her know I said what's up?
No, you can't do that.
Why can't you do that? She's
Unless
the one
it's
that
the
posted
same female in every picture, then you'll know which one. You know, but yeah, I don't know.
You can't just be like, hey, you know, I think that this would work better as a friendship between us, but can you tell Roxanne I said, you know, this is my number, and feel free to text me if she's free this Thursday night.
I didn't. You know what I had? I had bad experiences with Tinder and Bumble. It's just the type of thing where it's just like it was always like it's always a little weird. Like
met
they don't
girls
trust you as much. Like I have better time. That's why I got rid of that shit. I have better time on like in real life, at a
Oh,
Starbucks
totally,
or at a
dude.
club or whatever. Because then
Club,
they.
you just shake your shit. And
Listen,
they just
I'm half
flock.
Puerto Rican, fucking white boy. All right, I know how to dance. But there's
I hate clubs. Dude.
you 1-2 step. But there, I have a better club better luck like in person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I understand girls being a little more fucking skittish when you're meeting somebody online. I had a fan of the show, friend of mine. She sent me a message after this Tinder date of hers. She had come to a show and then she went on this date, and she's like, this guy. You know, we were hanging out, and then he invited me over to his house. We go over to his house, and then he like made a move, and I was like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. But then he like almost like held her hostage, almost like where like he was like throwing a tantrum and like
some
throwing
Aziz
things
shit?
and like being a little bitch about it, and she was like
crazy.
scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She talked to
True.
the cops and shit. Like there's,
Damn.
I can understand needing some more, like needing to know, oh gee golly, I hope you're not a rapist. You know what I mean? Like I understand that.
So
That's why-
I'm a little bit torn on this because I know that like just going to somebody's house isn't an invitation for them to make a move on you.
Thank
But
you.
if it's
Thank
after
you.
a date and you've been having some drinks and you feel like you're getting along, and it's like, hey, do you want to go home or should we go back to my house? And it's like, let's go back to your house. What is the expectation there?
Now,
Like you just
okay.
want to see my flat? You know, like
Right now, okay, couple of things, because I'm with you.
I mean, it
I'm
can change.
with you.
Obviously, like if the vibes changes, I get it.
Vibe
If
changes. If she's not feeling it, or if like she just wants to make out for a little bit, like we don't know that until we make a move. I'm gonna keep making moves, like
Right.
even because I've had times where
Until
like
you're
a girl was
literally
like,
like, I'm leaving.
until a girl. I've had girls like, no, and, like I'm sorry, girls, this is gonna be real offensive, but
I
fuck
had the
you.
same
Start
conversation
your own
with my boy
fucking
Joshua the
podcast.
other day.
Sometimes no means try again a different way.
exactly.
Very true.
Now, I'm not saying force it. I'm absolutely. If she's
no.
giving you like a no, not tonight, like, and there's there's
Yeah, I
you
just want to
feel
go
that
slow.
energy.
I just want to go slow. Da 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 da. You know,
I'm
and
fine
you're
with making out. Like I
yeah,
like
da,
it,
da,
whatever.
da.
But like if you keep making out with me and you're like rubbing my leg, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in again. You're gonna say like, no. There's so many women. Bonnie McFarlane is a fucking great. She's probably the funniest female alive. Listen to her book. What is it called? You're Better Than Me. And when you're not listening to my podcast, and she talks about this story where she's like, her whole MO in her 20s with guys was like, no, I don't think so. No, I don't. No, you could just stop. No, don't stop. Oh, you're finished. You know, okay, I'll call you later. You know what I mean? Like where it was like, no. She put up all these roadblocks just so a guy would like, because females don't want to feel like a slut. Like number one, they don't want us to think they're a slut, which is high school shit. Boys, I'm telling you right now, if a girl fucks you on the first night, she's a fucking trooper. Don't be a little bitch, all right? Fuck
don't
her
go
again.
shame her.
Don't go shaming
this
her.
woman.
If she fucks you on the first night,
Call her
she's a
back. Buy her
keeper.
flowers.
She's a winner. She's a
fucking
good
pussies.
goddamn girl. Don't be a little fucking high schooler.
Well, this is the thing is that we in this country, man, we
Goddamn,
designed, we
fucking saint.
created such a like, we created this like 1, 2, 3 game. You know, of getting a woman, you know, and it's funny because in other countries too, there's a program. Mm-hmm. So what works better? You know, following the program of getting married when you're fucking 14, 15, whatever in other countries, and you know, fucking who you're designed to fuck, or being in this one. You know, so it's like this is where I am with this one. Is I feel like women have been suppressed so fucking long. You know, especially in this country, as far as having the same rights as men, you know, fighting for the same equalities, as being able to do the same things as men. So now we're at a time now where women have this confidence, you know, and kudos. I want women to have more confidence, but it's ignorant confidence. It's more like it's confidence, like okay, like you cannot, you know, what I'm saying the nice guy finished last shit, you know, is a very, very, very true statement.
Right.
Most nice guys that go talk to a woman, especially either that or the nice guy just has bad fucking taste, you know. But I'll tell you like this, like you know, I've gone, you know, I've done the classy thing, talk to, you know, women, go to the bar thing, and blah blah blah.
Right.
Some days is good, some days is bad, whatever. Right. You know, I guess as a man, we can't gauge our women attention by how pretty the woman we met compared to the next woman we met. You know, sometimes I do that. You know, I'm like, oh my god, I met this bad girl. She gave me her number, but oh no, this girl that's not as fine as her didn't like me. You know, sometimes I get caught up like
it's
that.
So weird.
You know
dude.
what I mean?
It's
like,
so weird. We think it's math, but they're understanding. They know right away when they're down to fuck you. Like it's so it doesn't make sense to us, but that's why we're different.
And I just saw a post posted by somebody about how can you approach a woman these days if everything is considered in a sense creeper status,
right?
Like literally, like you being nice to a girl, blah blah blah. You know, unfortunately, with all the fucking nice ass idiots out there that fucking use the niceness as a fucking angle.
Use the niceness as an angle. Thank you very much.
Fuck it up for someone that is genuine. Right. And honestly, if I like, you gotta look at it like this. It's like hitting a fucking. It's like beating something down over and over and over and over again. Eventually, you hit that same spot, it's going to become numb. You know what I'm saying? Like you're that spot is going to become numb. So what has happened is that women have become so numb to the nice guy that is genuinely nice because you've had so many shady people that they don't want to filter out and fucking decide to wait. They might as well just go talk to the fucking dickhead that's already expressing himself as a douchebag. That's why you got the douchebag mentality in a sense winning a lot because but in a sense where it's like. They can be controlled maybe in their imagination.
Right. I think the douchebag wins in some ways because at least it's confident. The problem with nice
False
guys is there's a difference. Totally. But I feel like what dudes do a lot is that they do the whole nice guy thing as a manipulation. Number one. I mean, the most male feminist, like, oh, I'm super male feminist, like, you're going to come up with a date rape charge at some point. But I'm thinking, like, what's nice about the guy who's kind of a dick is that at least there's confidence. That's why girls go for that. It's not because they have a bad self-esteem or whatever. It's because they want someone who isn't going to be, like, wishy-washy.
Well, they know that they know that guys are assholes fundamentally somewhere deep down inside. I'm going to find the asshole in you. At least this guy's wearing it on his sleeve. You seem so fucking nice that I know one of these days I'm gonna fucking stumble across it, and at least this way I can gauge right away, do I like this level of asshole? Can I put up with that? Versus surprise, here's the hidden asshole behind the nice guy.
And there's also a difference between there's a difference between nice and sweet. There's a big fucking difference
Totally.
between nice and sweet. Girls don't. The ones I've talked to don't like nice. They like sweet.
They like
they like a guy who can defend them.
Exactly.
They like a guy who can say, "Shut up, baby. I'm taking care of something right now." Or hey, you're trying to come off with some game right now, and put them in their place in the way.
Yes,
Not put them in their place, but call them on their shit.
Yeah.
They need to know that someone's got the fucking reins,
Yeah.
so that they can accentuate and appreciate that womanness of being more fluid, of not being logical like we are. You know what I mean? They're logical in their
Some
own
girls
way.
are like, I feel like,
but
then eventually, when girls get tired of that, then they just become radical. Revel. Oh, they then go talk shit about that guy that they like so much later. Oh yeah, he doesn't. He thinks he wears the pants and out, but really, I'm the one that's. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I say this a
Let
lot,
them
but
have
girls,
it.
you're
Let them
not
have it.
happy. Girls, you're not happy wearing the pants because you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's about real. It's about real ass. It's about real ass. What do you want all the way down in your belly? Now, I've been wrong, and a lot of times I just got an email from an ex-girlfriend this morning that. Let's just say we probably need to do some talking about our former relationship from a long time ago. And suffice it to say, I was definitely more of a dick back then. I was definitely more insecure, more manipulative because I was insecure. But there are pieces of what I believed back then and what I've changed in a lot of ways. But there are pieces that are kind of true. Like I am an advocate for honesty. I'm an advocate for being true to like my belly. Like if I want to fuck somebody, I am no longer gonna make believe I don't. Not be vulgar,
Right.
but like I'm gonna say, like, you know, I approached some girl the other day and I was like, "Hey, I think you're really cute. You know, can I have your number?" And she was like, "Okay." Like it took her a second, but like we were texting a little bit, and she was like, "I like your confidence," and I'm like, "Why should that be refreshing?"
Yeah.
That shouldn't be refreshing. Now I know there are guys who have different strengths or whatever, but like that shouldn't be like because I've had that same. It's so weird how like sometimes I'll try one approach with a girl and it's refreshing to her, and that exact same fucking approach with somebody else is like, oh,
turn on.
Do you think
clutch
maybe
pearls.
because
Oh
we're
my
artists?
God.
Do you think maybe because we're artists and we have to like maybe critique certain things in our lives, maybe we have to finesse that and we have to get everything is kind of sense maybe a performance, and if we don't get maybe we don't recognize it, but I'm just thinking this now as a therapeutic question.
Sure.
Like maybe we want validation for that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think is you know.
yeah, it's a fucking slippery slope.
You know, I think like I like the relationships I see once in a very blue moon, whatever, or you know, like leave just the girl leaving a note, hey, you know, have a great day, baby, blah blah blah. Just that, you know, just the vibe.
Right.
It sets the vibe for the rest of the day. You see what I'm saying? Like and the thoughtfulness. You know, being too thoughtful, and being prideful and not love and suppressing all that is going to kill you in the long run. You know, because you're not really being yourself.
Right.
You're just being like what you feel.
But that applies to when you're already in a
So,
relationship.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like sometimes it's good to just not play the game anymore. Of like who's gonna, you know, like these days, man. A lot of this, like, unfortunately, a lot. And I'm not saying this is for both genders. A lot of people play this back and forth cat and mouse game. If he didn't hit me up today, I'm not going to hit him up today. If he didn't hit me up today, I'm not going to call him.
I'm guilty of that
see,
too.
That shit, that's got to end. Like, because deep down, we really don't know, A, what someone's doing at that certain time, why they might not have got at you this time, and B, you know, like we all got different skills. Because I'm guilty of the same fucking, I'm saying, and by the way, I'm saying things that I do too as well.
Right.
Off and on,
right?
And I'm trying to, you know, snap
just
out
trying
of those
to think
things
about it
because
and put it out
that
there.
shit makes like us ugly. The deep down, it's like, you know, fuck it. I can see if you hit somebody like 5 or 6 times and they don't respond. That's different.
Right. Totally.
But if this is like a game of ping pong, you know, or whatever, and I feel like I've been going through that a lot with, you know, certain people, and I'm like, man, you know. And I've been going with this like other thing too in my head, and I don't want to seesawing is like treating people mirroring the exact same way that they treated me the last time I was with them. And it's a trip, like, you know, but that's not really me. I'm trying to strategize my encounters with people instead of just being who I am. And I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
It's hard to let go of that because sometimes we are authentic and we get hurt, or we get our vision of hurt. The problem is that those people are going to be people. I'm going to hurt people. You're going to hurt, but we just bump into each other. The problem is when number one, I take it personally, and number two, my magic magnifying mind makes something bigger than it actually is. You know what I mean? Either I take it personally, or I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a bad rest of the day. Why? Because sometimes I get rejected, and like you were saying, sometimes I get rejected by somebody. I'm like, bitch, I'm hotter than you. Like, what are you fucking? You know what I mean? But when that happens, I almost get I get like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Now I'm just gonna be a dick. And kind of be punishing to different. I've had that times where where I've taken it well and not taken it well. I'm a human fucking being.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like, how do you like it's funny because I got into an argument with a chick about I don't know about a month ago or so. And we were going back and forth, and she said, she's like something about, you're a corny rapper. And I said, you know, I was like, well, all you do is sing covers. We started attacking each other's talent.
Oh, ouch.
We started attacking each other's talent. And
how was the sex after that?
Well, we didn't have sex after that. You know what I'm saying? We haven't really talked after that.
She hit her up.
And it was weird because I didn't attack that like sensitive area first. She just all of a sudden like. Right. Attack me, and I'm just like, man, I just kind of felt like, sometimes people will just like do and say things they don't really mean to get a rise out of you. You know what I mean? And it's just like, whoa.
And girls are not above being human either. You know what I mean? She probably had a bad experience with a dude a day, 2 days, a week ago. Yeah. She's still fucked up over that last relationship, and so she put your face on that guy and told him what she wanted to say. You know what I mean? She tried to make you feel the way she, felt or like was insecure about.
I feel like we don't have to act what we have to think of what the stigmatism of what you do is. Okay, like, oh, you're a podcast guy, you're this way, so you're supposed to be this way. Like, right. If people's, I think that one of the thing I'm trying to program myself is not to have the judgment of what your title is. Like, oh, he's skinny, he does this, and then I'm not going to judge him for I mean, he says that.
Well, we could judge him, but
you see what I'm saying? But like,
I got it too easy.
It's like, man, face value, and like, just words without getting to know people are just starting to go hand in hand too fast.
Sure.
And this is kind of gets very like discouraging when we all have something deeper in us.
But we also don't have
minutes of just conversating with each other.
But a lot of times we don't have time or mental emotional energy to do so. You know what I mean? Like I can't sit everybody down and understand. Sometimes we do have to put each other because there's so many fucking people. Back 200 years ago when there were like 7 people on the world, you could take the time. That's why people were marrying cousins and shit because like I only know 5 bitches who I actually am attracted to, and one of them unfortunately happens to be
Wouldn't it suck to be the
preacher's
less
wife,
good looking
the preacher's daughter.
There's only 2 dudes and you're the less good looking dude. Wouldn't that fucking blow? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know that feeling.
He's fucking
I'm
all of them.
Incredibly handsome all the time.
Just saying that shit would.
But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Do you want to take a break? You got time?
Yeah.
I wanted to do one little quick analogy.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
And I gotta piss and smoke a cigarette.
Word. It was about how women don't really want the pants in the relationship, but they'll kind of push you to see how far you'll let them go. Right. I want to compare that to how bad do we really want the booty hole? I mean, once you've gotten there, once you're knee deep in it, is it really as glorious as we've made it out to be all this time and how hard we fought for it?
We just don't want to be alone.
Or do we just want to prove to ourselves that she will give it up? Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Once you're there, it's like, well, this isn't fun for any of us.
It's the animal inside of man that wants to hunt. It's the hunt. And then we fucking got it. And then it's like, there's poop on my dick.
Exactly. I think that's what happens when the women, when finally, when a man gives up those pants to the woman, she's like, well, now I got these fucking pants on, but my dress made my ass look way better.
Yeah.
So, ladies,
companionship is the biggest thing. I think at the end of the day, I think a lot of people don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
And then at the same time is fearfulness of being able to, getting like my dad got remarried at like 60.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, it's never too old to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In a relationship or just say, hey, it's not working. Like I think the biggest relationship is having that one with yourself, knowing that this isn't working for me. Right. And then being able to detach it.
Right.
Without the security, the insecurity purposes that come with it. It's
hard to fucking do. When I'm 60, I'm gonna marry a 27-year-old. That's how I'm gonna fucking get down. Son.
I have a friend who's like my age and he's dating a 21-year-old, and you know what? Like he's about.
It's annoying, by the way. Just to let you know, young bitches are fucking annoying.
Trust me, I saw the annoyingness.
Why didn't you text me back? Because I already learned this lesson 10 fucking years ago, bitch. That's why.
She talks
That's
a lot,
why.
Amongst my friends, I'm known for dating like young girls.
Oh my
God,
God.
like, skinny dude. Why are you always like? we'll hang out with you, no problem. But why you gotta bring around the young girls with you and shit? They're so fucking annoying. And I'm like, they're so fucking hot. But I know,
dude.
I
This is
it's
what
a
I always
problem.
say,
It's a
and then
fucking
we
problem.
gotta stop for a second. But I want to take the brain of a 42-year-old and put it in a little 22-year-old. Like that would be fucking perfect. But you can't do that.
They're reminiscent about being 20.
Right, exactly, right.
Bottom
and,
line,
and you can't do that.
I was 20. Because that's
But
what
I
I'm
didn't.
doing now.
But that's the thing. For me, I didn't fuck a lot when I was like 20. You know what I mean? I got into my good fucking years a little after that. I was fucking, but I didn't get into my good fucking years until a little after that.
Oh.
So what happened for me is I almost was like back with a vengeance. You know what I mean? Like I was like, all right, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm going in. You know?
Yeah.
But there's so many times where like I love dating girls who are older because it's like, especially ones who have already gotten married and divorced. Although I like being the other man, but I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, but it'll be real. But I like dating girls who have already done the. Remember, you did the from one thing to one thing. You did the regular. You had the kids, you had the baby, you had the whatever, and so now it's like once that's already there, the expectation is now lower. Even if they want to be in a relationship, the expectation is lower, and so you're like, okay, cool, let's just have fun and then see if we hang out. The problem is that I do want kids.
Yeah.
And I can't have kids with a 44-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't have a kid. Because at 42, most of the time, they've already been to the dungeon, like my kind of girls I like. You know what I mean? Like, they've already had their ass. You know, I can introduce new shit to them. I can still be refreshing confidence-wise and whatever. I can still be sexy to them. But the problem is that the ones who have the body that I want don't have the maturity.
Yeah.
That's why when I was young, I started dating older women when I was like in my teens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I've dated 24-year-old women ever since I was like 15 years old.
And the older you get, they stay at 24.
They're still like 24 years old.
That's
you know what I'm
so
saying?
funny,
Like
yeah.
in my whole life, I've dated 24-year-old women since I started dating.
I've had different age ranges, man, and I've like, and I just feel like eventually over time they're always gonna want you to have their perception on things and certain things that are very important in life. If you don't have like certain aspects or things that they want, eventually it's just gonna fizzle out. If there's not things that are involved like kids and things like and a bigger house or whatever, and a lot of assets, and that's like when I dated a girl that was unfortunately I was dating this chick. She was in a relationship, whatever. She was in a relationship, and she wasn't happy, but and the other, in the guy, I don't know if he was happy or not, but he was, kind of like one of those worker guys that traveled a lot, came, business guy, and at the same sense, it's like, communication is kind of like a deal, but like. I don't know. It was one of those scenarios where I just felt like it was just like the relationship was just together. They were just together for the assets. You know what I mean? Just like,
There's
money, kids. We both got a good job. We got kids, and they probably were just doing their own thing here and there. I don't know.
There's this one. I really got to piss too. But there's this one girl, one in particular who I used to work with. And I don't think she should listen to the show. I'm not gonna say her name or whatever. But there are some women, you hang out with them and you know that they're flirting. You're not being, I'm just a flirtatious person. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm just flirtatious. No, you're not. You're flirting with me. And you feel that, but they're in a relationship. There's one in particular I'm thinking, like, I know she's down, but she's in a relationship. But she's like 26. She's been with her man since they were like 19.
Yeah.
Son. You know what I mean? But they live together, okay, and that she's in school right now. She can't go to work.
So
of course she's got the routine.
She doesn't want to break the routine.
And at a certain point she was going to wake up at 30 when she's already doing her doctorate or whatever the fuck, and when she's reached that pinnacle and be like, "Oh, I'm with a guy who fit me when I was 19. I'm not with a guy who fits me now." Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm already going to be fucking somebody else. Like, I'm sorry, baby. But, like, hey.
All these institutions really worked when we died at, like, 30. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Like all these institutions work fantastic. It's like, oh, be with me into my old age, meaning like be with me from the time I'm
37.
like 15 to like start putting me in hospice when I'm 26.
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
That
saying?
was a trip.
Like
you say
now it's like you have multiple lifetimes. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's okay to adapt with our partners or change partners throughout our lives.
I was
don't know.
naive. I was naive once. Like I thought like one of the girlfriends I had. I thought I was with her for about 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
And when we broke up, I was like, damn. I was kind of like, I thought it was gonna be forever. Like it just felt so damn long, and it was such in the routine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then when we like grew apart from each other, it just kind of shocked me. And this was like kind of like around the time when like Facebook kind of got popular. You know what I'm saying? Like around 2000, like 9, 10, 11, around that.
Breakups are a different game
Right.
now that there's fucking
You know what I'm
social
saying?
media.
Like,
dude.
like, it was
You
a
have to
trip. I was
look
like,
at
well,
this chick
and then at the same time, like,
Oh.
and then I went on a dating spree.
Sometimes I block. I have no
But-
fucking
Oh,
problem.
you got to block, but you
Temporary
got to
block
erase all
even
your
for like a couple of months just to like.
and you got to erase all your pictures that you have. You got to go through your
I
whole
was so
phone and
trippy,
erase all
man.
the
That was a trip,
pictures
man,
and
like-
fucking, it's a nightmare, dude.
And we
Getting
broke
over
up
somebody.
because she thought I was dating girls on MySpace and shit. And I'm like, man, like I wasn't even dating girls on and I really wasn't. And that's a crazy thing. And I
You're
wasn't.
like, what the
And I
fuck
was
is
happy in
MySpace?
my
I'm
music
still
career.
in the chat
This
rooms.
is when, like we were rocking shows and stuff. This is like when I was rocking shows with this guy and stuff. and we was like have parties and dude, we would bring chicks back. Like, we had fun, dude.
It was
That
we
had
was some
fun
wild days,
times.
dude. It was some
And-
wild days.
And then she's like, oh, you go to that show, you put your shows on, and you guys go perform. We would do shows. We would go to San Ho. We go everywhere like that. That was a good time
Stocks
for
and
hip-
bonds, baby.
Good time for hip hop in the Bay, man.
Yeah, we were having
And-
a good old
and-
time. It was the hyphy movement was in full effect and shit.
And
Yeah, we're having a good time.
fuck, bro, and then like dude, like all of a sudden, man, because of like just attention, and she grew up, she got a little older, she graduated college, she wanted to be a radiologist, wanted me to move with her to Vallejo, and I was so into my friends and shit like that I didn't do it. And then other relationships I've been in since then have only been like a year or two, and not that was like a long time. But then I realized right when I got out of it is such a different, like how much the dating world changed.
Oh, hell
Whoa,
yeah.
I was like, people are so more vain these days. Oh, what, you don't dance with guys at clubs anymore? Oh my God, where was I for this time frame? It was from like 22 to 27.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that time frame. And I was like tripping, bro. I was like, what? Girls don't dance with guys at clubs anymore? Like, you know what I'm
All
saying?
right,
Like,
let's take a break. We'll be
gotta
back in a
pee.
minute. I
Let the man fucking piss, dude.
God damn it. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second part of whatever the fuck we're doing here. Again, you can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish, and you can email me your vagina pictures and or titty pictures to conservatishpodcast@gmail.com. Or if you want to fight about something one of the three of us said, feel free to do that as well, Skinny. So you were saying that you were what do you remember something specific that you disagreed with me on the East Bay episode?
No, I don't think there's anything too specific. I mean, honestly, I just think that
Is it a vibe thing? Is it just you just want to defend your current hometown because you're a coast motherfucker?
I'm from Half Moon Bay. I grew up on the peninsula. Peninsula definitely raised me, but I've been in Oakland for 10 years now, and I'm 33.
10 years?
I'm 33 years old. So I mean, from the time I was pretty freaking young. I've
Wait,
been,
you're older than me? I'm 32.
I'm older than
God damn it, dude! You look fucking 26 as at best. That's fucking
you.
crazy.
I feel fucking.
Yeah, Denero, you gotta raise. You gotta. Okay, there we go.
So I
See,
mean,
it's tall enough.
I think that there's a certain local Oakland energy that you might have kind of overlooked. You know, obviously.
Like what?
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of there's just a good hip hop like really kind of like street vibe that Oakland has that San Francisco just doesn't have. Like
I don't feel the street vibe when I come to the hip hop shows out there. I usually find that I'm either it's people from San Francisco who are going, or I feel a lot of social justice stuff, which just kind of makes me go, okay, I get it. Yeah, all right, thank you. Yes,
totally
okay.
agree.
Like we were saying at the beginning, I kind of feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see as much street shit. I would be more refreshed. Like I said, my favorite shit is, like, you know, Mob Deep or, like, you know,
shit
MF
got pushed
Doom.
more
Like,
down to Santa Rosa and like Modesto now. You see,
Really?
Like, Neftafaro, Cats, more of the like Jay Stylin rappers that are more street rappers. They don't do a lot of shows in the Bay no more. They're getting more
Right.
like love in like Santa Rosa, Modesto, up more Northern Cali,
Interesting.
Stockton,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
and other places throughout the country.
Okay.
You know, a lot in like Kansas City. Like really like that you say, you know, and it's funny how you know you like touch on this whole like social capital, like fucking, revolutionize fucking wannabe hip hop bullshit,
Right,
because to me
right.
it's all a bunch of jargon.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Like me, I rap about that shit a little bit, but honestly, like I'll rap about every fucking thing.
Right.
Like
Right.
I have tracks that are about, what I'm saying, fucking doing dope, fucking sniffing coke, fucking bitches, sniffing coke off bitches' cunt stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like and then at the
Well,
same
think
time,
about it.
Like, and I have songs about fuck the police. Let's rise up. Let's do this and that. And I got like songs.
But you gotta
shitting
have
on
fun.
Myself, like Eminem.
Absolutely.
Like really, like I'm, like I'm not like really. I have no filter when it comes to music. I feel like
Right.
nobody should.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing is hip hop gets such a fucking like, You are who you say you are in hip hop. Well, like, was Ozzy who the fuck he said he was? Was
Right.
Aleister Crowley? All these other motherfuckers, like Iron Maiden's,
Right.
fucking singers. So
Did
why
they
are
actually run to the
why,
hills?
Why does hip hop? Why do hip hop artists gotta literally be who
Or
they say
comedians
they
for
are?
that
I mean,
shit.
look at brother fucking Lynch.
Right.
Look, he's a great fucking rapper. Like
Right.
he could out rap tons of motherfuckers.
Right.
Rap slow, rap fast, this and that. But his content would get fucking completely alienated
Right.
in certain circles.
Right.
And he will never get mentioned in the top 5 or whatever. Blah blah blah.
I just
Right.
hope that Brother
You
Lynch
know?
doesn't do half the shit that he says, because he says
You ever heard?
really fucking
You ever heard
serious
Necro?
shit.
You ever heard Necro?
I used to fucking love Necro. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
I'm
I
not gonna
used to
lie
love
either. That one album, fucking what was it? Gory
yeah.
Days. Gory Days was the shit, dude.
really good
All that
album.
piano beats and shit. He's a little cornball. I love him, but
Yeah.
he's that was fun as shit when you're 22. 20. That was a lot of
I'm gonna tell
fun.
you, fuck, when it comes to the total poem of hip hop, DJs are the one that's winning right now. Everybody could be a DJ, and that's another thing kind of
We the best music.
That shit irks me. I've seen, how many rappers I've seen, bro? Because, like, I'll say this, like, Skinny, I've known this dude to at least be rapping for over 10 years. Probably was rapping before he met me, and that's been 10 years since
I
we've known
dropped
each
my
other.
first album in 2003.
So, I've seen a lot of dudes new come on the scene, rap for a few years, not make it, and then become fucking DJs.
Right.
I don't know you, but I know you're a comedian, and I feel like you're but some of them even become fucking comedians or whatever because they can't rap, and they try to get into other things.
And thank you for doing
and
that.
that's cool.
And thank you for getting out of the rap
And,
game if
yeah.
you can't rap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For real.
We really commend
But
you.
some of you
Go
guys-
do comedy.
But some of you
Go
guys
fucking
are
yourself
funny.
and be a
Yeah.
DJ.
Like-
fucking
like-
shitty rapper.
Like I feel like in the whole comedian thing too, it's like some guys are trying to be comedians and shit. Like me, I feel like I could be a funny comedian because I feel like you got to be ready to be ass out.
Well, that's the thing is
Bottom
that
line.
they can't transitioning from anything to comedian is incredibly hard. I'm not a stand-up comic. I'm just funny in my music or on stage, or doing this podcast. As far as I know from listening to years of Patrice O'Neal and Colin Quinn and all these amazing,
Oh, Patrice.
so many people talk about how difficult it is to do
Oh,
that. It
fuck
can't
yeah.
be easy. You
And
know
I
what I mean?
think
You
that's
do
why-
actually have to be funny and dedicated at the same time.
But you might not be a comedian, but I bet you could write your own comedic show
Oh,
or
yeah.
direct it. Because the way
I've thought about doing stand-up,
I feel
but
like
it's just,
comedian stuff is like. Well, I've always commended stand-up literally to be like the hardest material on
Fuck,
stage besides battle rap. Battle rap. The only reason why I say battle rap is hella hard these days is because it looks easy, but really deep down, it's really not.
Well, it's stand-up comedy on the fly
Yeah,
to a beat.
stand-up and
you
adapting.
have to keep the beat. You have to sound like you actually have like some kind of cohesive motion going on while you're actually
And
like.
adapt to crowd reaction and learn. It's not learning just one song. It's like one round of battle rap is like 8. So it could be about 5 minutes. That's about 3 or 4 songs with no chorus, no beat, having to adapt to a different city, this and that. Even though it is written, it's still hard to do. People, like kind of shoot it down, and when you really like look at it, it's really not that
Sometimes
hard.
it's not
I mean,
written
it's really
too.
not that easy.
Oh no!
There's different
and
kinds of
and
rap.
not
The
just
newer
that,
leagues, the newer battle leagues are
Right,
all
right, right.
like a good 65%, 70%
Newer
is
shit,
written.
but like back in the
You know,
Eminem days,
Yeah, those days, yeah.
dude,
The freestyle era, yeah.
holy
yeah,
shit!
yeah.
I mean,
shit.
10 years ago, if you went to Tourette's Without Regrets, bro, like
Right.
I say that was some of the most world-class freestyle battles that you could ever see. Back when
Yup.
Tigger the Rock was around, Thesaurus was
Thesaurus,
around.
those
Like
days.
these guys were
Or
fucking animals.
Rukasaki, all
Yeah,
those-
Rukasaki. What's his name? Tantrum.
Yeah,
Frack seems to be okay.
Frack's doing it, but he's doing it now. He has evolved. Like now, he's one of the better players. At the time, he was kind of like a smaller guy, like playing in a bigger league. Now he's like one of the like bigger guys in within the leagues. But yeah, I mean, in those days, it was. I mean, Thesaurus was groomed here and ended up being like a world champion freestyler. He was
Yeah.
considered as
Wow.
one of the best.
and Immaculate.
Yeah, him and Immaculate started a team. They won the international competition against some Brits ended up actually being in the finals of it, and they beat them and shit. And that was
WRCs,
groomed, and all of that was
WRCs, yeah,
exactly
that's crazy.
all of that was groomed right out of Oakland. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like when I came to Oakland, and maybe I'm living too much into to my memories because as you get a little older too, I'm not as
And
active in the
Scribble
streets
Jam,
and shit
too.
like that. I'm not
Scribble
running
Jam.
around.
Scribble
That
Jam
was the
a lot.
shit.
Yeah, Scribble Jam.
That's where Eminem got his kind of notoriety when Eminem beat Juice at the Scribble Jam, and Juice was considered to be like the unbeatable.
And Thesaurus won Scribble Jam twice too, and he got like two. That's why he's like the 2-time everything, quote unquote, because he won Scribble Jam twice, and they won WRCs twice. So that him and Immaculate, yeah, they both.
But like
That
Tourette's
shit-
without
yeah.
regrets, as an example, going back to your earlier
Tourette's
point.
changed a lot though now.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's not the same.
The reality is,
We love
both
you,
with
Jamie.
freestyling, with nice people.
Yeah, Jamie's
Don't get me wrong, nice
for
fucking
sure.
people. But at a certain point, follow your own logic. If you're gonna get mad at a motherfucker for saying a joke or rapping a rhyme that's not politically correct, let's go all the way down the line. Remember remember in the 80s when David Bowie did a song called China Girl? Remember in Ashes to Ashes when he said the word Jap? Okay,
Yeah.
remember when Robin Williams, your hero because he killed himself, and don't get me wrong, I love him, but remember when Robin Williams, who's this sacred, untouchable, remember when he played a fucking Middle Eastern in Aladdin? Remember when he played a gay guy and appropriated the gay culture in Birdcage?
Birdcage, yeah.
Fuck you. Don't just either have the fucking principle.
And what he did for Clowns and Patch, I mean, God.
The principle is more important than the personality. Otherwise, you don't believe in the principle at all. If you're going to be a full-on crazy, social justice warrior, number
That's
one,
why I
you're
always
a
said
boring
Tupac
motherfucker.
played a fucking
and number
undercover
two,
cop.
go all the way. Go all the way.
That's why I said the same thing. Tupac played an undercover cop. You didn't have to take that role. That's what.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing too. Is it's like it's so when we get down to humans, man, we can go down. It's again we could play hypocrite ping pong all day.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
Sure, that's true.
And
That's true.
And that sucks.
That's true,
You
but
know,
like,
it's
but there's when you have something. I've only been to Tourette's a couple of times, and I performed 3. I think I performed 3 out of the 4 times I've been there, and it was progressively like more. It seems, and I wasn't around
More
10.
more PC. Is what
More
you're saying.
PC. It's
Yeah,
just
I
like
mean,
you can't.
Well,
Come
I think
on,
what ended up
man.
happening was it came to a point where the freestyle battles. I remember a battle that went on for like it was like the most epic battle ever. It went on for like a half an hour.
Wow.
It got down to the point where it was like bar for bar. It was like literally like one bar. Yeah, like it had gone so long and nobody was faltering, and it was between Tantrum, who's an Asian dude. I want to say he's Chinese, and then there's Kodiak, who's like this very large Mexican
Rest in
dude.
peace.
I didn't know Kodiak
think he
passed
died,
away.
yeah.
Well, rest in peace if you did, man. But then the whole thing just ended up being just this like
Kodiak.
racial, it was just fat jokes and race jokes for
Yeah.
a fucking half hour, and it was brutal and gruesome and hilarious.
Thank
and you'd
you.
never heard a
We
fucking
have
funnier
fun.
battle.
We
dude.
have
It
fun
was
with each other.
hilarious.
God
It was
damn
so
it.
fucking funny. I mean, as long as both parties are willing participants,
Yeah.
and shit. But then you have the third parties that are like, well, I was in the audience and I was offended.
Like,
and
I've had rap-
it's supposed
like-
to be a safe place.
what's
for
Don't be
crazy
people.
offended
about-
for someone else,
Right.
kids. Don't be offended for someone. Oh, you shouldn't say the N-word because this black people might be offended. You're a white piece of shit. Shut the fuck up.
They just need real rap
Jesus.
judges. That's what it is, or judges that aren't very biased on what on opinion. Tourette's, I think they go by either crowd or they go by.
It's crowd. They
go
randomly
by, like-
select people in the crowd and they have like
Yeah.
a card.
And
Even then, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think it'll get back to her, and even if it does, I don't give a fuck. There's this girl named Alice Love or Alicia Love, or anyway, she's a poetry slam artist, and they go haiku battle, and she's good. But I feel like every time I've been there, she's been the winner. And the reason why she's the winner of the poet, she's returning champion, is because she's always versus this skittish white person.
Yeah,
And she's a black lady.
yeah.
And so they can't go full bore, number
makes
one.
sense, yeah.
And number two, they can't just go full bore. They also feel guilty if they did win. The audience and around them feels guilty because it's all white kids from Hayward.
Oh, man.
They all feel guilty.
That's a horrible platform.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They feel guilty. There's this wave of unconscious, subconscious guilt, white guilt going, you know what? We're going to make believe she's better than she is. I'm not saying she's not good, But at a certain point, like I could have said, like she looks like Harpo. Okay, she looks like fucking Oprah became Harpo. Let's be fucking. No one can say that. No skittish little white kid from Hayward who went to fucking, who's going to UC Berkeley can really go and say, "You bitch, you look like Harpo." They would fucking win if they fucking said that shit. But they can't say that shit because I'm just a meek little one. I live by privilege. Fuck you, dude. Art is art. Yeah. Art is art. And leave it alone.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like about I go to this event, man, on Sundays, and we're like, man, let's fucking just let these motherfuckers battle. Like, hip hop was like that shit was based on that, and we even try to set the standard, to try to tell them not to battle, but they still battle each other anyway. They still,
outside?
It's still no, they still battle on stage.
It's supposed to just be an open forum, open mic,
poetry.
cipher. You pass the mic around.
At the boom boom,
No, but I'm talking about like when they have like a specific week one where they actually do like a contest.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be where it's supposed to be based on on the poet and how he rocks
rhymes
the crowd.
and cadence
but,
and all that
but
stuff.
when it
Not
comes down
for
to it, at
personal.
the end of the day, everyone just still battles each other. They don't follow the directions. The MCs.
Goddamn rappers.
And then the crowd influences the battle more. So in the end of the day, it's like sometimes going against the current isn't the thing, especially maybe because they're just tired of seeing so much corny shit hearing on the radio that they might just come there just to see this one place where we might get to see a good battle. We might be able to do this. So it's just like,
and it's a great night every Sunday night.
Yeah,
ROTC,
it's awesome.
Boom
It's
Boom
awesome.
Room. It's
This
a
is
free
what I do
show.
the
It's a
MVP,
badass show.
We want it to be more like, hey, if you want to talk about what you want to talk about, let it, because you can't like take art and then try to suppress it and then be like, but you got to do it this way and do it this way. It's kind of like. It's kind of a double standard, and that just goes with any. I just use that as an example,
Right. Do you remember when what's his face? I've talked about it on the show, but do you remember when Kendrick had that white kid? He brought this white girl up on stage a few months ago, and she said nigger. Yeah. Now I don't have a problem with him like saying that she shouldn't say it like on his own. He brought that white girl up there, and the song says it 85 fucking times. He put that bitch in a bad spot. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was showing off and gaining points. He
you
wasn't
gotta
doing
think
that
too,
righteously.
Yeah, and you got to think too, like, that girl is probably on high. She's probably on it, and
Yeah.
just to be up on everything's happening moment by moment, like in a slideshow.
Kendrick just brought her up on stage. She's got to be so excited and
like, if she ain't listening, I'm sorry, Kendrick. She's probably not bumping your
censored versions.
Yeah, that one album that was all about this. She's probably bumping your more like, what I'm saying, bitch be humble type shit. And I think that was the song. I think it was. Was it the song, bitch be humble?
No, I can't remember what it was, but it was
the knock. I don't know.
It was a beast. You know what I mean? And she knew all the words. She's
And
this
then
chubby
she's
little
like,
white girl,
yeah, I
like
think I
ready.
remember.
She's having fun. You know what I mean? He brought her up on stage, and she's like, and he like, whoa, sabotage, whoa, stop. And everyone's like, ooh, a bunch of white kids who like Kendrick. Let's be real, a bunch of white kids who like Kendrick were like, oh, that's not appropriate. Go fuck yourself.
When you're in your car,
I thought kids were supposed to be kids.
When you're in your car that your daddy bought you, and you're fucking listening to that Kendrick album, you're fucking dropping the N-bombs.
Absolutely.
Just like the fucking little white girl. Like, come on, dude.
Like, that goes back onto the hypocritical crazy shit. Is just like, about how, it's like I said, like the younger generation from like 14 to like 25, they look at, certain kind of people as superstars and superheroes, and and you got to look at the superheroes that are now and that are being, like Lil Pump and all these other, like that is someone's superhero. Someone right now is listening to that dude thinking he's dope. Some little 14, 12-year-old kid, whatever, is liking that shit, and that's the thing is, the scary is like the messages of when we were like 14 and 15 and we were like liking all this radical, it wasn't I guess it was in a sense radical music, because it was like, but the 90s and now is such a difference of like of what it is. Like I felt like certain music could at least teach you to be a man. Now it's just suppressing you to never become a man and become like a fucking like a low frequency having like dense,
immature.
It's like, even like there's no without rock and roll, man, was like, wow, like these motherfuckers were talking about being adults rioting, and what I'm saying, like riding on bikes and
but it was the anger. It was the anger. And I sorry to cut you off. Finish your point. Well, no, I was just thinking about this when we first started this second half here. I was thinking that all these artists, all these social justice artists, which rock and roll, if you feel like, do a song or two on your album about whatever. But like if it's every fucking song, think about back in the 60s where they actually were revolting, where they actually were writing, where they actually were marching, where they actually were on their shit. They were using the music as a tool, but it wasn't every song was Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Every song was about fucking love. Yeah. Every song was fucking, was the Supremes.
Love isn't being promoted.
But I mean, like, the music was not important.
Hey,
I feel like
Drake
if you talk
Kiki,
about
dude.
important, yeah.
But
By the way,
Drake- but
Kim
see,
Kardashian's
Drake-
overrated as a
Drake-
motherfucker.
Drake
Disgusting.
Drake talks about broken
plastic
love.
ass
Though.
bitch.
Drake talks about love in a different, like broken, like love. He doesn't talk about like love, like the way that.
But I'm not.
Ain't
Like-
too proud
I'm
to
not
beg.
even
I
saying.
mean, wow, that's
I-
a beautiful thought. You know what
Like
I'm
R.
saying?
Kelly, okay, R. Kelly. Some of the shit that he was saying, of course, this is grimy. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the stuff, like, but. Like fucking dude, so many fucking women after are still bumping that fool and still like defending him, and I'm still like him, Harvey Weinstein. We're just waiting, clock's ticking, but then nothing's gonna happen. Those two guys, they're both fucking.
But all I guess the
politically
point
tied into
the
whatever
point
they're
I'm
tied
making is
into,
not
man.
even that love was that we should focus on that. I'm saying they were all talking about sunlight and losing their girl. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, we need a revolutionary
Kevin
song.
Campbell.
All of these motherfuckers who do whole albums about conscious rapping. Number one, you're intellectually boring, and number two, you're unnecessary. You're going the wrong direction. We don't need you to make a fucking to revolt. If you want to revolt, in the 60s, revolt was happening whether they had Marvin Gaye What's Going On or not. You know what I mean? Marvin Gaye was a reaction to the revolt happening.
Right.
They didn't, and I'm sure it touched people's lives and made people more conscious. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying it's not like, I'm gonna do a whole album because this message needs to be heard. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, we have more
He was just
fun.
reflecting
There's
what
only,
was
like,
happening
two
around
albums-
him in the
Two
streets.
albums I can listen to that are like that. Nas is the one what he did with Damon Marley is kind of like that. It's education, but it's so musical with the with the Jamaican beats, and I could listen to that album.
Okay.
That's like uplifting to a certain
Also,
in a
damn
certain
near 10
realm.
years old.
And the newer one, the one he did with Damon, the Distant Relatives one.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jamrock.
No, the
Okay.
Nas and they did that joint album in like 2012 or whatever.
Gotcha.
That album I could listen to, and then I could listen to the Dead Presidents one, Be Free. The one with hip hop. Those two other like two albums that I could listen to that probably through.
And
that
it
have
has
that
its
message,
important place, but like
Yeah,
I always talk
yeah.
about Rage Against the Machine. I love Rage Against the Machine, but it's the same song over and over. Everything's fucked. We need to fight. We're being controlled. Everything's fucked. We
Even
need to
some
fight.
Black
We're being
Sabbath
controlled.
song, but I love Black Sabbath. War of Pigs is great, but look what
Absolutely
he's talking about, right?
But he also talks about fucking like witches. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he also talks about fucking Lord of the Rings type of
Yeah,
Middle Earth and shit.
yeah.
Like stretch a little bit. I would love to hear a Rage Against the Machine song about fucking. I would
It's like
love to
that's why
hear
I like
Rage Against the
Sublime.
Machine
That's why I
talking
love
about
Sublime,
cheating.
dude. Back in the day,
That's
I
why I
love
like
Sublime
Freaks of the
because that
Industry.
exact
That
same
song.
thing.
Yeah.
right.
That's why I loved Bradley. Bradley
Digital
was able to
Underground.
like hit you with
Freaks
some
of the
super
Industry.
revolutionary shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
But then also to have a lot of songs about fucking, about maybe catching STDs, and about
Sure.
like,
Getting
like,
high and whatever. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that other fucking cool
Yeah.
random
That's
shit,
why I
you know what I'm
really,
saying?
really like Eminem's first album. It's
Oh
just,
fuck, that was a hell of a fucking record.
the timing of it. This what he talked about, man. Working at Burger King, spinning onion rings and all that crazy shit. I worked at Burger King, man. I remember when I was young, man. And
Did you ever spit in someone's onion rings?
no, I never fuck with no one's food, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I never
some-
did
that's
that.
some
type of
creepy
shit.
shit.
I
Don't
never
fuck with
did
people's
that.
food,
I used
man.
to sell weed out the fucking drive-thru though. I used to sell sacks and 10 sacks and 20
did
sacks
it?
out the drive-thru though. But no, I never. All my days in food service, I never fuck with people's food.
Right.
But I do have friends that have, man, and I think that's it's funny, that's bad, man.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with
I used
people's
to have a
food.
friend that used to work at Starbucks. He said he spit like in the cops like Starbucks and shit like that.
Oh, come
Kinda shit
on,
like
dude.
that. Yeah, he
God
told me
damn
that,
it,
yeah.
boy.
He told me that shit. Yeah.
Jesus.
Jamba Juice used to do.
Don't be a cop
Yeah.
either.
Yeah. That was a trip.
This is an interesting point too. Okay, so let's talk about cop stuff. So
Oh, shit.
I feel like not enough credit gets paid to the fact that we do need cops for things.
Definitely.
As far as in the hip hop community especially.
Well,
Like I'm all for like there are some pieces of shit
Yeah.
in any business.
Yep.
And when it's a cop piece of shit, it's not just, oh, this bitch won't let me return a jacket at Nordstrom. It's my life is on the line. I understand that.
Yeah.
And we should fight that. But chaos is not what's necessary. Like
No.
full on, no structure, no society chaos. We do need roads that are paved.
Yes.
We do need somebody to come fucking get my car back when it's stolen. We do need someone, you know what I mean, with a fucking gun or something to stop the
need
other
a
motherfucker
real-
with a gun.
What do we need to do is like a reform of cops being in the community that they are from. That's what it needs to go. We need to go stop having police officers that live in a different city, policing a different area that they're not from. They have no kind of idea of where they're at and who they're dealing with to be in those communities.
Isn't
When
that
it
kind of
needs to be,
dangerous, too,
oh,
though?
you're
I feel it's a lack of training
it's a
that
little-
makes
well, the reason
motherfuckers
why
go
they
crazy.
don't want to have the cops that are from the same communities because
Right.
then they'll know who to go kill. But in a sense,
Or
it's-
they're gonna have
But
bias
you're-
towards
but
like
you're-
I grew up with this motherfucker. Yeah, he's selling
True.
dope, and yeah, he's fucking running the
True,
block.
but
like,
they
I
have
grew
that
up with Brad,
anyway,
you know?
though. They have dirty cops that are doing that regardless.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna
Sure.
make a cop's gonna be dirty, and you're gonna be dirty and doing whatever you're gonna do. And if
It's
you
just a lot easier to
you know
like
what I'm
let
saying?
somebody slide if they're your fucking if they're your cousin,
true,
or
true.
you grew
but,
up with this motherfucker since high school. You know
but
what I'm
if
saying?
not, then
Like,
they'll just let you come and move weight in their town and wherever their jurisdiction.
But it's also a
is.
lack of
You know what I'm saying?
resources
Like,
too.
no.
How many people in West Oakland, especially when they hear all the time, "Don't be a cop," no offense or whatever, but how many people in West Oakland are gonna or East Oakland are gonna want to be a cop?
I think the thing about it is we don't know how they're being recruited these days for police officers, and B, how they're being trained, and that's a big part
The
of it.
training is. I see billboards all the time. Palo Alto's
Look,
looking for
I'll tell
cops.
you
You
like,
know?
if you go talk to a cop that's 40 and up, way more of a cooler cop than you talk to someone that's 25 and up. These younger kids that are becoming cops are more militarized. They're more. I have a friend whose fucking brother became a fucking cop, and this kid is like 27, 28, fucking Trump supporter, this complete bigot, and you know the fucking kid's Latin.
Yeah.
Latino in America, a complete bigot, you know, and you're and you got Napoleon complex on because I know this motherfucker, so I'm talking about somebody I actually fucking know. Those three things do not go. It's for a cop. A, you do not go and become a police officer. You got fucking Napoleon complex.
Yeah.
Bottom
if you're a little
line-
boy, that includes girls too.
Yeah.
That includes females. Females
That's
will
the
never let you
number
slide
one
on
thing.
shit.
You don't be a police
Old
officer
cops
or
will let
any
you
kind
slide
of
on
power. If you have Napoleon complex, which this man does, then you have that bigot mentality that your mentality of how you used to think it's reversed. That's bad. When you all of a sudden were, I'm not saying like, oh, you know, change your beliefs, but don't change your complete ideology on the world when you just because of a wave happens. Oh, you know, like, oh, Trump's in office, now you feel this way, now you're taking, you know, I've seen it. I like I said, I've seen this person grow up to become a man from a kid.
Sure.
So it's scary to see the influences of the
But
reason
human-
why you want to become a cop. The underlying
Sure.
reason is
Yeah.
is a scary thing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Is it to serve and protect, or is it to unleash
The energy.
the energy
right.
that was given to you back onto this community?
You were
of
bullied.
people?
You were bullied,
Yeah.
and you were never able to get laid or be a bully. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I
that's
get
scary.
that, and but that comes in many forms and shapes. I also know that at a certain point, though, instead of and it's easier. I'm not saying every track about that needs to get into the nuance of it, but like at a certain point, we do need to understand context and nuance because the more crazy, I'm sure Tourette's, as an example, had great intentions to not let some shit get haywire. But when you say certain things, the language that we all express to each other, people who are on the more extreme or people who are nuts can use that as now a flag. See, they agree with us. Now we're going to go all the way this way. We're going to go so far because we want abortion to be okay for someone at 6 weeks that we're going to say that babies aren't even fucking babies. Wow. You know what I mean? We're going to go so far to make trans kids feel okay, which again, everybody's on board with trans kids feeling okay, that we'll go so far to say that men and women aren't a thing. That's just a social construct. Bitch,
Wow.
You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? So we got to be careful of the language that we exchange to each other, I think.
Yeah, no, that's I feel that way because it's like we're such a sensitive realm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the realm of sensitivity is so high right now. Like,
has it ever been like this before?
I don't, you know, my experience. I feel
Maybe.
like I don't.
Well, maybe
you know
not.
what?
No,
It's
obviously,
so-
in our lifetimes, no. But I
We
mean,
didn't have social media.
Yeah,
That was
we
a
weren't able to
big-
know what everyone was like. Because I feel like, okay, you know, with social media and right when we left the conversation, I was thinking is what we need to do, man, is we need to have like a Facebook but your diary. This is what you should not. You could go into Facebook, but let it go into your Facebook diary like a journal.
That's creepy as fuck, dude. I don't want none of y'all motherfuckers knowing that shit.
You might we kind of went through it the other day. We talked about it, but where it's like you have these thoughts, they're negative, they're stuff you don't. They didn't make the complete feed, but they made it to where you can see, only you can see it.
Right.
So it's there. But I notice sometimes, man, like when I get a negative thought out, sometimes on Facebook, I do feel relieved. And I think it's time to realize that, we're starting to sometimes put our random thoughts that we would jot down in a journal, that we would jot down at the end of the day. Sometimes we're putting that into social media. Not everyone does it, but
the podcast
some people
is
that do that in a sense.
The podcast is better though, because with this I can at least explain myself in a long form.
Yeah.
Yes, I make little clips to like piss people off or get people laughing real quick just to pull them in, but with this I can explain myself and what I actually mean. You know what I mean? In this long form thing where this has actually been spiritually helpful for me, because I feel more transparent in a way, like, okay, yeah, I can be hurt because I said some shit. But remember what he said back in 2017?
No, I get a mental
But
high.
I also feel really good because it's like I can't be caught. You know what I mean? I'm there's only like one or two things that I won't talk about, but outside of that, what are those? I've talked about I know. I've talked about fucking everything on here. You know what I mean? Some weird shit that I thought I would take to the grave. I've talked about on this.
Right. Yeah. No. Last time I was pretty surprised as to just what I let myself talk about. And
I don't
about.
think people
But,
realize.
Thanks for sharing that story too.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I want to talk, what I kind of had an idea about is, for our generation, it's a fucking huge pain in the fucking ass having to figure out from a place where we were, there is a lot of fucking racial shit. There is a lot of fucking, homophobia and stuff like that has been going on for way too long and needs to stop. Period.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And big ups to our generation, as much as fucked up shit as we have, to at least be able to recognize that and go, okay, something needs to change. Now there's always going to be extremes to how we go about doing that, and some people are going to want to go farther into it, other people aren't, you know what I'm saying? But when it became socially a thing where you don't say the N-word, you know what I'm saying? That was a pretty good thing for that generation to do, So, yeah, you can agree or you can disagree. Whatever. As
Context.
As a society, I think that like the just white guys have not feeling like they have that superiority to be able to go and not even just the word, but to level the playing field. I think that was a very important time, a very important generation, right? So during that generation, there's growing pains, and it still hurts. But what I'm trying to get to is that, do you think that once our children are born and that we have these kind of not regulations,
progress,
we've had this progress and stuff like that. So to us, it's a big argument and it's this big thing. And but once our kids are born into it, it won't seem like this.
It'll
big
level out.
Yeah, I just think that things will fall into place, and like the kids won't think it's like crazy that they have to address a they as a they, or you know what I'm saying? Like
yes, and in certain ways I'm down with that. But also I don't think that kids are morally superior either. You know what I mean?
Feel like
I know a
more
lot of kids.
say it actually
We
more
always,
now.
when we talk about bullies, we all agree that kids are fucking ruthless, right? So why would that, like, when I look back on myself at 20, 21, my dating decisions, my financial decisions, my life decisions, I was a fucking douchebag. Now, at the same time, does that mean there weren't good intentions in that? No, of course not. But I don't think we should necessarily trust that it feels okay to go that far direction, because again, these kids, these 17-year-olds who have a blue check mark on their fucking Twitter have too much power. And when a bully has power, like we were talking about the other day, they want to keep that motherfucking power.
Yeah.
And there is power, there is social power in feeling like I'm a victim. There is social power in feeling like I stand up for what's right. There's social power in trying to stop people's words.
Man.
And I'm not gonna fucking,
You'll be surprised of how fast you become the bully and then the bullier,
right.
without even knowing the difference. Sometimes people will become that. You
Right,
don't
absolutely.
even know it. You don't even know it. It's and it's funny how, and that's how unfortunately that's kind of like how bullying works in a sense, where you might. When you become the unbullied, you either have two choices. You're either A, going to become better, or you're going to become a bully in a different sense, in a different realm, and something else that somebody else doesn't do.
Yeah, you're going to process what happened,
passed
or
on
you're
to
going to
you.
move it to somebody else. Right?
Yeah, I've seen it happen a lot, and that's why kids suffer a lot right now. I feel with being able to express their feelings. They're too scared of how much they look and how much they, you know what I'm saying, like of adapting to what everybody else is doing to like tell their parents, hey, this is going on at school, or hey, this is going on. Kids don't like their reputation is so fucking fragile that they don't ever want to just like admit their wrongs or you know what I'm saying? If you ever noticed that, like kids don't, like even if your mom is willing to go and fucking go in the, you know, classroom and go say, please don't do that, mom, you're going to make me look bad, blah, blah, blah. This, you see what I'm saying? Like that shows just by that little bit how insecure,
sure,
you know what I'm saying? Like with the children, you know, are,
but like fragile. But like
the mind is fuck.
That's a valid point. But I think to your thought about like what would make sense these days, I also don't think we should walk blindly without checking little kids. I'm sorry, like
well, what I was, my
you know
point,
what I mean?
I think my point got lost here a little bit. What I meant was that that these conversations that we're having now are conversations for our generation,
will
and
help
that
us
people
move
that are
forward.
That people that are born today,
right,
when they become our age, are going to have completely different conversations, and like the idea of what's appropriate to call a transgender person will have been ironed out by this generation. So I don't think it's like this, like it's
but
not
it
this
could
like
be it could be ironed out or it could be snuffed out. It could be ironed out, but it's not going to be ironed out by everyone assuming my intentions behind saying a word. My intentions, my context. We are letting context be destroyed.
Gotcha.
We are letting nuance be destroyed because word means bad. So not just we'll shut them down or cancel them, but also Twitter will cancel them, or Facebook will shadow ban them, or we're now giving machines, not even people at the top of the CEO, because if the CEO decides, never mind, we're not going to move this machine this way, they will remove the CEO and put a new machine. That's what machines do. So a bloated fucking machine is now deciding what is allowed and what isn't allowed. This is not, context is being destroyed. Like we were talking about on the stupid example of Robin Williams playing Aladdin and having a fake Middle Eastern accent. If we let context be destroyed, we are screwing up some of the best pieces of humanity. We're screwing up the best. I'm not saying the fun and how great it is, way better now. Porn as an example, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
We're progressing. But one of the things I want to be a stick in the
example
mud
of
for.
progress is how
Absolutely. Dude, I can find the worst things possible I can find on my phone. I can find a horse fucking a bitch in 2 seconds. Give me no
have to go all the way down
problem.
to Tijuana for that.
Damn, that's hella.
But like we're progressing. But one of the things that we need to like, it's always like bowling balls. We remember the bumpers on the side of the bowling. You get a little too much to the left, you get smacked. You get a little too much to the right, and eventually we make it down there. We're on the way, but let's not chop motherfuckers' heads off. Let's not cut out people's fucking ability to speak to each other by as if that's going to help things, because it's actually doing the opposite.
Yeah. Well, and what we're getting to is being programmed by classism is I don't know, is the highest like level of subliminal racism. You know what I'm saying? Like where we're getting into a point where you know, man, my friend was describing it. It's kind of like the movie In Time, where you if you can't pay, you can't go this far in life. You see what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
Like we're getting into that realm where now, like you're starting to see it with like when you go like to movies, you know, or whatever, you know, oh, you get the special ticket to go ahead of everyone or whatever.
Right.
Or, you know, it's kind of like,
tickets.
yeah, or whatever it is. You know, it's we're getting to that point now where there's so many humans on this planet that are becoming rich now,
right?
That we're starting to like do it like a color scheme and like a money classism. Like, oh, you're not in this club unless you have $20 billion. You can't be around this type of people, or you can't be around this type of people unless you're this way.
But I don't think that's new in any way, shape,
No,
or
I think
form.
that's human
new,
nature.
It's becoming more, but it's becoming more normal, and when it becomes more normal, it's like not underlined. It's not subliminal.
At the same time, I don't, two things. I don't think that that's a race thing, and number two, I think that what's the problem is education. and maybe it's a lack of education from the top down. Maybe the top is saying, hey, don't teach these young kids how to work hard. But I think it is. I know a lot of poor people who are lazy. It's not just, and maybe that's from the people they're around who said, don't take a fucking typing class, motherfucker. Hey, don't do, now you're going to go to college, bitch? Like, no, I won't go to college. I'll just hang out,
and glorify the idiot that just came out of prison.
I'm quitting this McDonald's because they don't treat me right. Motherfucker, that's what McDonald's is for. You're 19 year old. Yeah. You know what I mean? Suck it up. You know what I mean? Where we don't teach each other how to work hard. I'm not saying that there isn't some hey, keep these motherfuckers down, but I'm saying that there are motherfuckers who learn right and are around the right people who teach each other how to get further up and go, oh, all I needed to do was this. All I needed to do was wait at that McDonald's until I became a manager, until I became a regional manager, until I became a whatever. People are winning. Like that thing Chris Rock talks about.
Something out. Fuck it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Chris Rock talked about his kid, his daughter being on the basketball team, and she didn't get picked for the basketball team. And like his wife is like, oh, this is outrageous, blah blah blah, and like he's like he leans in, and he's
not
like,
enough dedication to something.
That's part of it, but he's like, there is a way to get on the team. You know what I mean? Like other kids got on the team. You know what I mean? Like it's if you work hard. You know what I mean? But it's so easy to just get things are unfair. Yeah. Things are unfair. The system's broken. Yeah. Right. When, as an example, even for me, I know I'm totally self-pity is my favorite. I love complaining about the algorithm of Facebook won't let me talk to my fans. Like. Yeah, but there's ways to get around that. Pay $15, and that. But like at the same, or even smaller, or even smarter ways to work. But it's so easy for my brain to go, fuck it, I'm not even gonna try. So I know it in myself. We know human nature because we know ourselves.
I know and now that you kind of went down that, we should all why is it easier? I guess too is another question for not for me, but as a mass, is a good question to kind of think about. Is why is it so easier for us to talk ourselves out of doing good things for ourselves and doing that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's easier for us to just be like, we'll put that off, and why we kind of like sometimes, I don't know if I know I do this a lot. I put the great thing in the back burner for fucking so long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'll ride this fucking phone I have knowing that I got 10 better phones off to the end. And I don't know why, like me as a person, or if anyone can relate to doing that, it's just like where you're just like, there's that light's at the end of the road, but I'm just taking my fucking sweet ass time going through all the bullshit to get there. I don't know why. Sometimes I do that, and I just wonder, if that's relative to anyone else,
Oh yeah,
sense,
I absolutely relate to that.
A little bit of self-sabotage there, a little bit.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
It's the fear of success. Fear of success is a very very real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's a very very common fear. I think you actually spoke about it a little bit on your podcast with your father, and I think fear of success and fear of failure are actually very similar things. They're not too far off. What it is fear of receiving. No, it's fear of giving yourself the option, or it's fear of letting go and letting the world decide whether you failed or you succeeded. That's what it is. It's the fear of it's just the fear of trying. Right. Basically, if I don't try, then I can't fail. You know what I'm saying? I also won't succeed, but I can't fail if I don't really put myself out there. So like I dropped a record in 2015. Right. I put a lot of fucking work into it, a lot of energy into it, and I fucking dropped it, and it flopped as a bitch, dude. It didn't do anything. You know, the video I just dropped got more views in the last 4 days than that whole fucking year-long crazy money album that I fucking spent recording and shit like that. And it was one of the most heartbreaking things in the fucking entire world, and it really has prevented me in the last 3.
Did you like it?
I see what I could have done differently, and I'm using it as a
learning,
a power piece for me to try to like grow from. But at the same time, it definitely discouraged the fuck out of me from fucking trying again.
You like the material though.
That's what I'm saying. Is like,
because I feel like, man, honestly, man, I've come to learn like the music thing is like. I used to do it like, like for that reason, right? For like, to get the response from the public. Now I just do it for therapeutic, man. Totally. Like I don't do it because especially the public is so fucking wishy-washy. Like if I cared about what the new public cares about music, oh God, I wouldn't make music then.
Well,
look at what they like now.
For me, and then we got to start wrapping up in a minute. But I think part of, as far as the failure thing for me, like I would rather comfort myself with pizza. You know what I mean? With a whole pizza by myself in my car with Game of Thrones and some ice cream, let's be real. And then then like work hard and then ask the hotter girls out and get rejected.
Right.
So you know
Nice,
what?
I like
I'm gonna
that.
reject myself first, so you don't get
That's
to.
what I
Right.
feel like too, bro. I feel like, man, it's lately I don't talk to girls at all. Really, I've been having this weird. Like I even said this on my Facebook. I was like, man, I feel like I'm becoming gender racial, where I just don't like start to want to see the fucking negative,
Right.
and not see the positive because
Right.
with all the stuff, like all the, I just feel like women have become so vain lately, and it's like, it's like I'm even missing on the signs of the ones that do like me, or I'm even like just cutting off the ones that aren't communicating with me on my. I'm going through a little period right now, world, but I'm getting over it. But I'm talking about, so that helps out. But and I just felt like for like I need to stop being so maybe just I don't know. Like, cause I'm like I don't know. I need to change that perspective though, because I'm becoming very, very, very like turned off.
Right.
And it's
Well,
like,
it's a phase too.
Yeah,
I think.
it's a-
I think it's
yeah, maybe
natural
it's a-
for us all. Like Patrice used to talk about when your mojo's not kicking. Don't force it. Just let yourself be in the slump.
Kind of like writing,
for,
like when you
even
got
if it's a
writer's block, you
day
got it.
Right.
or 2 weeks or whatever. Just let yourself ride it out, because you're gonna learn something from it, and maybe the universe has something better for you.
Totally.
Whatever the fuck.
I went through a big slump like that, man. When I came back, I was in Europe. It wasn't that I was slumping really hard. It was
Because you came back to America from Europe.
It was actually while I was in Europe, and it wasn't that I was slumping. Like obviously, like there's a lot of girls and stuff like that. But when I was backpacking, I was kind of touring and traveling. It was the brokest tour you could ever imagine. I was like literally hitchhiking and hopping on fucking long trains and shit like that, trying to get a couple 100 miles before the ticket checker would come around, or they'd stop and they'd be coming this way, and I'd get off the train and go around the other way, or I'd hide in the bathroom, or I had all kinds of stunts on how I would get around fucking Europe, dude. I traveled from west to eastern Europe like and back like easily free, with no money. So I would meet women, and obviously, you know what I'm saying, that I had my interactions with them, but it came to a point where it really got lonely, like just saying goodbye all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, man.
and so I got to this place where I was like, what's even the point of engaging with this woman, putting on the whole fucking charade, the whole song and dance, and getting her to fucking like me and charming her and doing all this stuff. And then next thing I know, and then next thing I know, fucking I gotta say goodbye again. You know what I'm saying? And it just kept, it was like breaking my own heart over and over and over, to where I felt like you were. I'm just like, I'm almost better off just like not even going there, not even engaging with these people, because it's just gonna end up hurting.
Sometimes to be real, like, I'm afraid of what not fucking a certain amount of women at a time means about my manhood. So if I'm more
to have a
solid
rotation.
and secure in my manhood, and then maybe it's okay for me to focus on this podcast or the album or like the move or the shit I got to do and work on myself, and then get a nut off from time to time with somebody else. But like, I don't need to I need to be having certain how many plates are spinning, otherwise I'm not a man.
Right.
What do you guys think about this? Okay, because since we're on this real fast, I just want to get this out real fast. Okay, I feel like with men, we're always willing to change our type. Like, I've dated different, well, except for size, me especially,
Yeah.
But as far as like, different nationalities, different kind of girl, tattoos, not tattoos, educated.
But
maybe
preference is usually
women always, always say that I'm not your type, and that really, really, really is like the one. That's like the biggest. Like, use a different turn off. I mean, a different turn down.
say you have a
I'm
boyfriend.
not your type. I'm not your
boyfriend,
type.
I don't care.
Just,
It's a polite one, yeah.
The I'm not your type thing to me is just so. It's the most vainest, because it's like, how do you even know what a type is if A, you have already judged my type by my physical, because you haven't known me enough mentally to say if I'm your type or not. So your type only must be of a physical structure or the way this person dresses, because you've only engaged in my top to bottom, the head, and this. So that's always been the thing that always gives me. What do you guys think about the my type?
I don't hear it very often. I think women overestimate their own preferences. I think women kind of, I know what I want, but all of a sudden, I can't tell you how many times they're like, I've always dated like, I know I'm not a pretty boy,
Exactly,
Jesse.
right?
I know I'm not, I know I'm sexy in different ways to females, but I've had so many times where like, I'm sick of, I've dated these other guys, but you're just so different. So, but that happens afterwards, especially that happens with maturity too. That happens in like after 29, maybe 32, 33. Suddenly they start to realize, okay, I've been chasing all this. and I'm unfulfilled,
Yeah,
or
like-
I had the kid, I had the
kiss him.
husband, and I don't want to fuck him at all. You know what I mean? Like,
It's all right.
you know,
I'm
things-
gonna date a 26
Well, I remember
growing.
you know, it's funny. Growing up, I used to know a lot of girls.
just
that
be
used
careful of the unholy chasm. I always talk. There's an unholy chasm between
Hey, that's not a
26.
nice way to call it. Oh.
I always like.
There's
I
an
always,
unholy gash between. There's an unholy twat between 26 and 35 of girls who are like, and that's nature, where they're trying to get a baby.
That's cool too. I love kids.
Like I've always wondered, like guys.
You heard it
like,
first.
My
ladies.
hat's
You
off to
heard
you,
it
dude.
first.
My hat is off to you,
Like
son.
I've always like it's been a trip to me. Like some women really do like dudes fresh out the pen, or you know what I'm saying, like or
Confidence.
Or, you know, it's like dudes fresh out the pen, or guys that are, you know what I'm saying, like in there. Like
Sure.
You know what I'm saying, like writing letters, like pen pal type shit. Like,
Because
I'm
at
just
least
like,
they're not to go.
I don't know.
Like,
Where do you want to
example,
eat?
my brother-
You're
my brother-
so beautiful.
My brother got married.
I don't deserve you. Ugh.
My brother got married to a woman in prison.
She was in prison, or he was.
He was.
Okay.
And he
Attaboy.
got out. He got out. And then she left, like literally a month after. I was like, "Wait, you basically all this time marrying my
She just
brother,
wanted a pen pal.
and then
right.
married him in jail when he was when he was in Folsom, and then fucking when he got out was gone, like dipped. You know what I'm saying? Just disappeared. Like what the fuck? He spent all
Good
that
for
time,
him
8
though. That
years.
means he gets to fuck whoever he wants, and he's fresh out of jail.
The
You
thing
know.
about it, like
Good for him.
is it a trip though? You could be behind bars and still be macking more than some of these dudes.
Right.
Even doing shit.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap up because my car is out of parking.
Yeah, mine too.
And thank you very much, gentlemen, for being on the show. That was fucking pizza was good too. What kind of pizza? What place
called
was that?
Slices right here. It's Sicilian style pizza. They're actually competing in the World Pizza Championship this
That's
year. and
fucking delicious.
It's actually Roman style, but the dude's Sicilian. But
Okay.
it really reminded me of like pizza that I ate in Rome like 2 months ago. It was fantastic. I'd say it was world class pizza. He brings his flour in from Italy. He brings all of his ingredients are from Italy. So shit was top notch.
Where
They
can
need to
people find
sponsor
your
us.
music? I know, right?
If you just look up, he has the slices right now. If you just look up Skinny Hendrixx with 2 X's, you can find my newest video. That's what I'm promoting right now. Otherwise, what are we at? SoundCloud.com/SkinnyManBlues.
All right. What about you?
Denero, you could check me out at Denero Boss, Denero Boss. That's on SoundCloud, and I'm on all online platforms just as Denero Denero. I'm on iTunes, Spotify, all the online. I got all my albums out on there. I just released a new album on 420 called Cannabis Club album. Yeah, it's got about 14 songs, all pretty much related to, you know, just enjoying a good joint, you know, a drink, kicking back. Not too many conscious songs on there. And yeah, I'm
Peter will
also
love
on-
it.
I'm sorry.
I'm also on YouTube.
I didn't mean to rant all the
No,
time.
no, I'm also on YouTube too. I got a new channel. I've been trying to upload a lot of cool content. Just Denero Robert, I think. Yeah, Denero Robert.
All right.
I forgot to mention I have Spotify as well. Skinny the Kid, 2 D's, KIDD, and also Thanks for Leaving Band are both on Spotify, and you can check out those joints.
And check me out too. I'm sorry, my bad.
Come on, goddammit. I knew I was in trouble asking rappers on the show.
Deneroda Boss. Deneroda Boss. Denero the Boss on Instagram.
And Pantheon / what's it called again?
What? Patreon.
Patreon / Conservatish.
No, motherfucker. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is skinny, SKINNY.Hendrixx with 2 X's.
All right. You can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. There's a new episode every Monday, every Thursday. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell. Otherwise, Daddy don't get paid. And share this with your less offendable friends. I'm going to be playing every Saturday at Scopo Divino in San Francisco, playing covers mostly, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's a nice little wine bar. I'm going to play a lot of vulgar fun things. But I'm also having a very exclusive show. This is coming out Monday. Yeah, this episode's coming out Monday. So I'm going to do a very exclusive show on June 7th with Jefferson Berge. There's only 30 seats, and I think 5 of them are already sold. So you need to go buy your tickets now. And that's going to be June 7th at 8 p.m. at RBA Creative in Oakland. Even though I don't like to
good
play
side.
there,
On the
you're
good
gonna
side.
you're gonna get to experience Pete in his Oaklandness. And the tickets are $20. So thank you very much, everybody. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'll also be at Carnival. Check me out at Carnival, guys. I'll be at the 19th Street stage performing at 3 p.m. this Saturday.
I'll just be
Oh,
kicking
this
it
is
in
coming
Oakland
out
streets.
Monday. Oh,
I'll be sitting there hanging out at the Oakland streets. You can catch me at the taco truck, most likely right there on First Street by the Lake Merritt.
I'll be at the Starbucks. Yo,
Yeah, we got better Mexican food than San Francisco does. In case you guys are wondering about coming out there getting better.
gives a fuck. Gives a fuck. Put
We got
fucking
better banh
tostones
mis.
all day.
We got
Fucking
better-
tostones.
we got better pho,
flour
more
tortillas.
affordable.
I don't give a fuck.
Fuck flour tortillas.
Get your fucking
get
window.
maíz.
Go get a taco and get your window smashed out. Fucking shit. Fucking Oakland. Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the show.
Thank you
and
for the invite.
I love you all very much.
Cheers.
Bye.
The last time I went to Tourette's, got the car busted into. That's why I'm going.
Exactly.